Can that be your
Hello.
new? Sorry, Derek. Can that be your new
Okay.
opening? Awesome.
No, that's the holiday opening. Just like the Halloween one's the holiday opening. We'll
Okay,
use
go
that
ahead.
again next year.
That was
Still
cool.
good. Still good either way. And what a welcome to the show for this evening, folks. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. This is a very special episode of Dad's Turn to Talk. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'm already full. And I haven't even had turkey yet or watched football. How are we going to get through this? Don't even talk to me about pumpkin pie. Yes, folks, we're wishing everybody out there a very happy and very safe Thanksgiving holiday. Happy to be spending Thanksgiving Eve with everybody. Allow me to introduce you to my two co-hosts. First, a man who's going to have to be told that there's no hot dogs from the concession stand allowed on Thanksgiving this year. Bob, how are you?
Well, part of the problem is because I already ate them all, so there were none left. So. As many movies as I've been going to, I think that they're going to need to restock those hot dogs.
Hey, you know what? That's given to the economy. Let's not kid ourselves.
That's right. I believe in giving somebody a job, to stack those hot dogs. But no, yeah, everything's going good. Looking forward to tonight. We got some fun topics to talk about, and obviously looking forward to Thanksgiving. How are you doing, Derek?
I am doing well, sir. I am very much ready to grub and watch football. I plan on being as lazy as I can be, which I've got a pretty good window for that. So I hope you two are looking to do the same. Thank you for asking. Let's move on to our other co-host who, God, there's gravy all over the table. Get a rag and clean that up, Josh. Hello, Josh.
Hey, Jericho. Happy Thanksgiving, you guys. Very thankful for both of you. And excited for tomorrow. Going to watch some football. And then we're heading to my sister-in-law's. We have a 20-pound turkey in our fridge right now that my wife is going to make. And then hopefully I'll be able to see most of the Dolphins game at their house, even if I have to put it on my phone. But love this time of year and just got back from seeing Wicked tonight with the family. I know, Derek, you have no interest, but I got to say, Bob saw it. Excellent movie. Incredible.
Okay.
Very good movie.
You enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it.
Okay. Very good. We also took Charlie, right?
We did. I will say this. She was getting a little antsy in the middle of it. Like, it's a long movie. It was like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and she was just like, when's it going to end? When's it going to end? But then at the end, she liked it. And then, she goes back and forth. She's like, I didn't love it, but I liked it. So, I don't know. Maybe if you took Dominic, I think Dominic could. I think he would like it if you took him.
Okay, funny story. You want to hear this?
Yeah, what happened?
We went to go see Red 1 today.
How was it?
I'm glad he liked it.
Really? That bad, huh?
No, that's not. Okay, look. I'm not being totally fair there. I'm not the guy for holiday stuff. I will gladly own up to that. Okay, that's just not me. It's not my thing. But it's his thing. So I will not ruin it for anybody either. I don't think that's fair. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean you sour it for everybody else.
Right.
So after we saw, it is, okay. I was telling Bob this. There's chick flicks, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There's dick flicks. There's a very, very, very small list of movies that are Christmas dick flicks. This has made that. This has made that list. Yes. The only other one that I could think of that I was talking about with Bob was Die Hard. That's it.
I was going to say Die Hard, and there's nothing in terms of
Takahashi Towers. Anybody?
That's funny.
That's such a good movie. All right.
Well, I'm glad.
But after the point being, afterwards when we walked out, talking about how much we enjoyed it, and Dominic goes, "Mom really wants to see Wicked." Like, yeah, I know. She said that. He goes, "I don't really have any want to see that." And I said, "Okay, well, don't. If she wants to go see it, just we should go see it with her." And he goes, "Yeah, I know, I get it." So he said the same thoughts I did, which is fine.
I mean, you never saw the musical, though, right?
No, I don't see musicals. That's
again. Here's what I'm going to tell you, Derek. It is because you don't like musicals. It's going to be one of those that you're going to walk out going, "Okay, that was well made. That was well acted. That was there were a lot of good things about it. I hated every moment of it. That's good.
Okay.
That's where you're going to be because you're not the target audience.
Wow, was there less singing
and
acting in Joker 2?
What's that?
Is there less singing in Wicked than in Joker 2?
No, but you see, Joker 2 wasn't a real musical.
No,
It was a movie with a bunch of music in it that they called a musical because they were singing. But again, a real musical, the songs are actually taking the place of the dialogue. They're actually talking. It's just that they put it in a musical form.
Got it.
Now,
that's not what happened in Joker.
I'll fess up to this too. We had an episode not too long ago where I listed like 3 Disney musicals as some of my favorites. But again, not the same thing.
Okay.
Not the same thing. Different. So I think musical theater turning into a movie is a much different thing than that as well. And I understand I am not the target audience. Right. So if you wish to see it, go see it. But if you ask me my thoughts on it, I'll be honest with you.
I really liked it, but knowing where you're coming from, Derek, like I said, it'll be one of those where you think, okay, it's well made, well acted. I hated it. So, because that's not for you.
Yeah, no, and that's I accept that. I get it. So folks who do want to go see Wicked, enjoy. Lily, shout out wherever you are. If for all the other dames and dorks out there, go have at it. Have a ball. That was last week. Yeah, I mean, Nomi didn't want to see it, so we became best friends, which no one knows about yet. But you know, but still, okay. So we had now. Bob saw Gladiator 2, yes.
He didn't like it.
Okay, see, I didn't actually do a review on it just because I'd already done 2 other reviews, and I was just a little burnt out. Decided to take a little break leading up through Thanksgiving, and the first half I thought was good. Second half fell off a cliff for me. I thought like those 2 emperors that are running in Rome, I felt like I was watching Tweedledee and Tweedledum. You know, also, I mean, it's not fair to compare the lead actor to Russell Crowe, but it's kind of hard not to. Denzel, he's usually great in everything.
Not this, huh?
This might have been actually a miss.
Wow.
Oh.
But I don't think it's horrible. I do think there are a lot of people that are going to like it. It's just, like, if I had to rate it, I'd say a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
I say it's a decent sequel. It did enough to earn its own existence because a lot of people were like, why do we need this? But at the same time, you still could have done without it.
It ends there.
Are you seeing Moana 2?
I'll probably see it, but I'm not gonna watch it in the next few days, so I probably won't. So because of that, I might wait for streaming just because if I don't do it in the next few days, I'm not gonna review it. So
we're gonna go Saturday for a birthday.
Yeah, we've got that's our next trip to the theater because Carson needs to see that. We couldn't do that today. That was not fair to him. So we have to wait. Yeah. Again, not musical theater. Works just fine. That's its own thing. So I'm excited about that.
All right, let's get some testosterone up in here.
I really got to get my manhood back. So let's go ahead and do that with our first topic, shall we, Bob?
All right.
Thank you. That's right, folks. We know how the Thanksgiving tradition goes in this country. You feast and you football. That is what you do. Now, I hope everybody has a good feast planned for tomorrow because I'm not sure about this football based off the games we have tomorrow, if that's what you want to call them. Yeah, Dear Lord. And by the way, Bob, you didn't need to show the Packers scoring on the 49ers. I felt that was completely unnecessary.
Well, it just happened to be a really good play. What can I say? But you see, the problem is the Packers had a lot of good plays in that game.
Mm-hmm. They did. That's true. I can't deny that. But here's what's not going to have good plays tomorrow. All three of these games. Who's excited? Not I. But I'm going to watch? Yes, I will. Because that's what you do on Thanksgiving. So let's talk about the lineup here. We'll just go by Pacific time since that is what I am on. Folks, beginning at 9:30 early in the morning Pacific time, you can have Chicago at Detroit. After that, at 1:30 Pacific, it will be the Giants at Dallas. And good luck, Josh. At 5:20 that evening, it will be Miami at Green Bay.
Oh, yeah. Cold weather.
Yeah, cold weather is right.
Cold weather.
Yeah, and
good God.
I think we've done our job as American citizens, providing for our families in this country. This is what they give us? We get this lineup? Oh, but don't worry, guys. It gets better because the Friday after, you get the Raiders against the Chiefs. That'll get you hot.
True.
All right.
Tell you what, I must have been wrong. I told Bob and you about Pierce on the Raiders, and I was like, yeah, give him a chance. I think it'll be good. Boy, was I wrong.
No.
They have no quarterback. It's just that team is falling apart.
There's no hope. There's no. Yeah.
No.
And my cousin is a Raiders fan, and I told her, just turn the television off for the rest of this season. You don't need to watch that anymore.
No.
All you're going to do is hurt yourself.
Good. I don't know if they'll let Pierce go, but
yeah,
they need a quarterback and a receiver now.
The Raiders need a lot more than a quarterback.
Yeah, they need a lot.
They need help on every dimension.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
So let's see. Where do we start here, gents? You just want to go game by game here, talk about thoughts, see where we're at? Okay. Well, Chicago has done a lovely job limping along this season, being 4-7, and now they are about to face a 10-1 Detroit team. Never thought I would say 10-1 about the Lions, but here we are, and good on them too, because they have certainly earned it. They put in a lot of hard work and have done improvements every year. So I give them all the credit in the world, Detroit. But this isn't going to be much of a game because Chicago is, I guess, scared to play offense. I don't really know how else you say it, because defense and special teams has luckily held up their end of the bargain, which is why they're 4-7. So let's go around the clock here. Bob, if you would give us your thoughts on this game.
Well, one thing's clear is Josh's boy, Caleb Williams. He definitely looks like a rookie. Yep. Where our boy, Jaden Daniels, he looks great. Yeah. Told you, Josh, he should have been the number one pick. But anyway,
I was wrong.
Caleb Williams, I still think he's got the talent. I still think he can do it. But the problem is, I don't know what's going on there in Chicago. I mean, they got all the pieces for that to be a good team, and just the offense just sputtering along. And now you're going into Detroit. Granted, it is a division game, and you and I both know that with division games, anything is possible. So, I mean, maybe we'll be surprised. Again, the pieces are there for Chicago to actually pull something off. And the one issue Detroit has had is they do allow a lot of passing yards. So maybe, but I don't think anything's going to come out of it. I do think Detroit's going to wallop them. I don't see Chicago stopping that running back tandem of Montgomery and Gibbs.
Yeah.
Because if you do stop one of them, the other one is, I mean, that's literally like a thunder and lightning combination there. And maybe not quite so much thunder because Montgomery's not like one of these big bruiser backs, but, a little bit more powerful than Gibbs. And so you got a 1-2 combination there. If you slow one of them down, the other one can get you. And yet both of them are pretty good in the passing game too. So I think you got some problems there. And then if you look at the receiving core for Detroit, there's just so many receivers that are actually pretty good, or pass catchers that are pretty good with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, even Laporta, who's had a down year. We know he's got a big game in his arsenal. And Tim Patrick has started to step up. You still got Khalif Raymond in that number 4 spot. So, I mean, I just don't see how at Detroit that Chicago pulls this one off.
Yeah. Josh, you second the motion there, or what do you think?
I do. You guys know Detroit I love. You know, my mom grew up in Detroit, so I've always had a soft spot for Detroit, and I'm very happy with what they're doing. I am going to say this. I think it's a 98% chance that Detroit wins. There's one thing we didn't mention. And again, Bobby mentioned division. You never know. Detroit has lost the last 7 straight Thanksgiving Day games. So I don't think it's going to happen this year. But I want to throw that out to you guys. Maybe I'm wrong, but they have lost. Who knows? I don't know what Chicago team is coming out. I told you guys, I thought, and Bobby agreed with me, that on paper, Chicago should have been a lot better. It's got to be coaching. I think their coach is done because you can't have that much talent with DeAndre Swift, with Caleb Williams, with Keenan Allen, with Cole Kmet, all those guys there, and not score touchdowns. Like, that is...
Or it could be possible, Josh. I mean, maybe Caleb Williams is just another Trevor Lawrence situation where he came out and everybody was swearing he was a generational talent that everybody that was going to take the league by storm, and it just hasn't happened. I mean, not saying that they're bad. Like, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is a bad quarterback. I'm just saying that maybe they overshot, or overestimated his ability, and maybe they did the same thing with Caleb Williams.
It could have been because at SC, he was so busy running around, Derek, and trying to get people open, that when he came to the NFL, all the commentators said he's not reading coverages. Now that you have to read coverages, he's struggling. Whereas Jalen Daniels is able to read coverages, throw the ball down the field, but also scramble when he needs to be. I think Detroit. I mean, Detroit is just such a powerful team right now. And it's just, I'm so happy for Campbell. I mean, I go back to a couple of years ago when Dan Campbell got on the mic on the press conference and said they were this close to firing me. They were 1-4.
Yeah.
I mean, for a coach to say that and to bring them up the way they have, I mean.
Oh, Dan Campbell has this many Fs to give. He does not care.
No, he doesn't. And the team they have built, it's just, I mean, Goff Bobby knows. I was very down on Goff. Like, I was like, he is not their quarterback. I don't know why they think he's good. I was wrong.
No, he breathed new life into Jared. He did. I will give him that. Yep.
He did.
Absolutely did.
I mean, Josh will tell you, I was a Goff defender.
He was.
Yeah.
He absolutely was. I was not. I was like, when they signed, who was it? Hooker from Tennessee as a rookie quarterback. I said, okay, he'll probably get the start. I was totally wrong about it.
But didn't they sign Hooker last year?
Yeah.
Goff had already pretty much sealed up the job before then, though.
I think they were still hesitant with him a little bit. And then, because remember, was it 2 years ago were they in the playoffs, or did they miss the playoff?
No. They missed the playoffs 2 years ago. They were in the playoffs last year.
Right. So I think everyone was still, I don't know. They went after Hooker. So I was like, okay, maybe they don't have faith in Goff, but, it completely changed. And that high octane offense that they run, and Ben Johnson, I mean, he's going to be a hot commodity to be a head coach somewhere. And so is Aaron Glenn, the defense. I mean, Dan Campbell, I mean, the guy is an amazing coach. He's also an amazing talker. And he's a great cheerleader. He can get his guys going. And they're now expected to win every game. Like, they go in, not from the media, from Dan Campbell. So what do you think, Derek? You're a big NFC guy. You're a Niners fan. Why are you scared about?
No, I'm a Niners fan. I'm not a big NFC fan. I hate plenty of teams in the NFC.
Are you afraid of the Lions, though?
Afraid isn't the right word. I do think that they're going to maybe have their best run probably this season.
Okay.
Josh, right now he's not afraid of the Lions. He's just concerned whether the Niners will even make the playoffs.
Which they're making a real good case why they won't.
I just heard Colin Cowherd call them old today, the Niners.
That is why there is not water in this glass right now.
Like, that's crazy. Do you think they're old, Bob? That the Niners are old?
Some are for sure.
Some are, but look, they got some talent on that team. But part of the Niners problem for the last 2 years is they keep getting hit by the injury bug, and they keep getting hit at the wrong time. I mean, heck, they started the season with the injury bug. I mean, their best player wasn't even on the field.
Nope. Because, like Derek said, they hit you so hard they injure themselves.
Well, they play the game. Yeah, they play the game so physically, which is, I mean, it's awesome to watch because they beat the teams down that they play so badly. But you also, it's to that point. It doesn't mean they don't get hurt, and they're tough dudes to have the injuries in them like this all in one shot.
Right.
But I mean, it's just enough wear and tear. I mean, the body is not an invincible thing. At some point, it cracks, and it has for a lot of those guys. God, do you think Dre Greenlaw is still out because he just tried running out to start playing football and he tore his Achilles?
Oh, Jesus.
He said, okay, guys, let's do it. Break. Done.
Wow.
That's
Not
it.
Good.
Anyway, back to the Lions, though. My dad is becoming a big Lions fan because Jared Goff went to Cal, as did my dad. That I could care less about. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers or Jared Goff went to Cal. That means nothing to me. Because
I like that he went to Cal.
Okay, that's fine. ACC, what have you? Whatever with that. All right. Anyway.
No. It's just because it's Cal. They beat USC so many times.
Well, that's fair.
I like Cal.
You know what? It's funny, Derek. I got to just tell you this quick story since Bob mentioned it. The year that Aaron Rodgers beat SC, USC was up. Cal came back there in overtime, and Herschel Dennis, who was the running back at SC, fumbled. Cal got it, scored he knows where I'm going with this, kicked the field goal, they won. Bob comes over to my house, and we decide to play NCAA football. Cal versus SC. The exact same thing happened. I had the ball in overtime. He strips it. I fumble. With Herschel Dennis, he kicks the game winner.
It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That's replay and a half. That's magnificent.
And that cost them the national championship, too.
Yes, it did.
I have been a Cal fan ever since that video game where I won, and they stripped Herschel Dennis of the ball. I have been a Cal fan ever since.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Or we split the national title that year, right, Bob?
Yeah,
Michigan?
I think so.
You're not with Michigan, with LSU.
Yeah.
Yes,
I became a Cal fan that year, and then a couple of years later, I became a Texas fan. So,
I bet you have.
Well, yes, as you should.
All right. Back to
Detroit.
The holidays are coming up, so if you want to give me a Texas, the Longhorns hat, I wouldn't mind. Just saying.
There you go.
Wear it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So every improvement that Detroit has found where they have a weakness, they have found a way to solve for that.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it last year, I think that really the weakness with the defense, that's been solved. They took care of that problem. And now there's very few weaknesses in their game, except the lack of the passing yards that Bob referred to. But that's really it. I don't see much else going on there. So I'm excited to watch Detroit, really take this to a good run into the playoffs. I think they have had a long time of a bag of suck because of how history has treated them. So if there ever was a team that has earned a right to be there, it's them.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that. Question for you both. Has anybody seen what the spread on this game is?
No, what is it?
Is it 13?
Detroit by 10.
Okay. Wow.
Pretty big. It's a pretty big spread.
Yeah. For NFL, it is.
Yeah, anytime you go over 7. Ooh. Now, on to Chicago, it's true that you look at this offense and you think to yourself, why isn't anything being accomplished here?
It's coaching.
And, okay, now look, I'm not going to blame Caleb entirely for this because he should be able to get some help with his running backs at this juncture, and he hasn't gotten it yet. So I think coaching is – the coaching is a problem for sure on that level. And maybe his running backs aren't doing the job, reading what they need to read either.
Maybe.
Getting their plays accomplished. So I don't think it's all on Caleb, but a large part of it is on him too.
Who's the other running back besides Swift? Who am I missing?
Isn't it Roshan Johnson?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And so, but with those two, something should be able to get done here.
Yeah.
And if Caleb is so good at running around, run down the field. Get a first down and just slide it in.
And you have DJ Moore, I just remembered. Like you have
that's right. Yeah,
he did have a good game this past weekend, so
no, but still you have that talent though. Like you cannot
and to the point about a divisional matchup, these can turn into dogfights at any point. So I do give Chicago a puncher's chance with this. That's all I give them. If this gets to 14-0, the game is over. That there's no coming back.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it. So hopefully it'll be the dogfight just to give us something entertaining here. But I'm figuring it's possible. I don't think it's probable. That's where I stand here.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, go Lions.
Sure. But here's two teams I'm never going to root for, and I don't know why they decided to plague us with this right in the middle of the day. And that's the Giants at the Cowboys. Oh. Now, look, the Cowboys have had a terrible season, which I'm all in favor for.
Awesome.
I love watching them struggle. But if you're telling me that on Thanksgiving you're going to play a team that is worse than them, how am I supposed to have any fun with this?
They could have done so many other teams against them.
Well, didn't they play the Giants last year too?
They keep playing it, or 2 years ago for sure. I can't remember.
2 years ago. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I can't remember.
No, they played Washington last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
which they tend to do divisional games. I get it, but you've got to look at some of the Giants are so bad.
Yeah, but you can't help it if you're choosing divisional opponents. Maybe they're rotating them. I mean, you're kind of stuck with who you got in your division.
Well, 2 years ago, Detroit played Buffalo, so they don't always do that. But my God, they could have at the time. Anyway.
Okay, and to be fair, if this is a divisional matchup and you've got the one team in the division that's just terrible, there's plenty of other opponents of the Cowboys where they probably would have wiped the floor with the Cowboys, which I would have loved to see too. But it's the same problem, only in reverse, that we're facing here. Where it's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, it was still another blowout, and watching a team, okay, if it's like 30-0 against the Cowboys, I'm finally like, okay, that was fun. I don't need to watch this anymore. I get it. They're done. So what do you think is going to happen here, gents? Josh, will start with you this time.
Oh, well, I mean, I called Bob the other day, and Bob's like, what's up? I have to go. And I said, I just need 1 minute. He said, what? I said, who do you think is the worst team in the NFL? And I think he said the Jaguars. And he's like, who do you think? And I said, the Giants. And he's like, you know what? You're right. The Giants don't have anyone. Like the Giants, I could not believe this team got rid of their best running back. Like
they don't have anybody. They actually have a few good players.
They really do. I mean, they've got what's his name? The one they drafted.
Okay, Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Slayton. What's his name? At running back, Singletary and Tracy, the other running back. Those are
Singletary. I'll give you. Singletary.
I'll give you, but he's no Saquon Barkley.
Well, Josh, nobody's Saquon Barkley.
But they got rid of him, Bob. And now they have these
That's a leadership.
Tyreek Hill. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you're making the choice for a business.
I think New York's going to get crushed. Now, for Dallas, is Cooper Rush playing tomorrow, or is it Trey Lance?
Yeah, Cooper. No, it's Cooper Rush.
Rush is playing
because I thought he was injured.
No, well, yes, he's struggling through an injury, but they said today that he's cleared.
I'd like to see Trey Lance play.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Josh, don't you remember he threw like 5 or 6 picks in a preseason game?
Yes.
I know, but if it was Jameis Winston, he's thrown 5 or 6 interceptions at 5
Yeah, but he also throws about 3 or 4 touchdowns to go with those interceptions.
Yeah, exactly. Trey Lance didn't do that at all.
I don't know. The game's going to suck. The game is boring. It's Dallas and the Giants. It doesn't.
It's the same thing. Okay, though, I will say this could turn into a dogfight and get interesting because it is a divisional game. It could.
Maybe.
I don't think it's it's possible. I don't think it's probable. What's the spread on this game? Is it let's take a look.
I don't know who's starting, DeVito or Drew Lock.
DeVito didn't travel with the team.
He didn't.
Oh.
Okay, so Lock.
Drew Lock is starting.
Drew Lock is starting. Okay.
It's a little bit different. God, that team is just so bad.
Well, now here's a fun fact. You know how many wins the Cowboys have at home?
0.
That's correct. None at all.
What did they say the other day? Who has more wins than them at AT&T Stadium right now? Bob, do you know who? It was something funny.
I know. No, they said Jake Paul has more wins.
Jake Paul has more wins than the Cowboys. McCarthy's going to get fired. He's going to get fired.
Well, we said that. We said that last year.
Yeah, and this year, I mean, it's
Josh. He probably will, but Jerry Jones also likes these yes coaches, so maybe he keeps him.
I could see him bring Dion in.
He's not going to bring Dion in. Dion has too big of an ego.
The only way Dion comes to Dallas is if they draft Travis Hunter and Schroeder Sanders.
They're not going to. They're not going to. They can't.
Of course not.
They just paid Dak Prescott somebody.
Exactly. So no, Dion's not going to Dallas. You're not going to get Coach Prime in Dallas.
Oh God!
And then Josh would jump on that bandwagon. Everywhere Coach Prime goes, he's happy to see him.
Of course, except Dallas. I can't see him on Dallas. No way.
Well, he's not going to be on. No, he's not going to be on Dallas because him and Jerry are going to clash. That's why.
Yeah, there's no way.
No
way.
Dion has way too big of an ego to be like, I'm not giving you any power. Like he would say that to Jerry Jones.
No
power is mine. Well, they would say that in negotiation meeting first, then Jerry would hear that, and it wouldn't happen anyway.
I really could see Dion staying at Colorado, to be honest with you guys. I think he'll stay at Colorado.
I don't know how well that's going to work out, but
I mean, the transfer portal and we'll see. Because he's always had his son in the backfield. So let's see how he does without having his son and Travis Hunter there.
What's Colorado right now? What are they? Like record-wise?
I think they're like 8-3.
They're like, 8-3. Bad loss last week.
All right. It's pretty good, but I still don't think it's gonna equate to success fully for Dion there. I don't see it.
I don't know, we'll see.
Deion Sanders with the cowboy hat, stop. Enough. Take that off. That doesn't need to happen.
But no, I think it's just going to be this Dallas and Giants game. I don't know. I think Dallas wins.
That's basically they're sending everybody to the house bar when they decide to play that on television. Just to let you know. Go get yourself a drink now. You're going to need it to get through that game.
I told you 2 years ago, remember, guys, when we were on our cruise in Mexico? Couldn't get any freaking games. The one game we could get, Dallas. Only game they broadcasted was Dallas. I'm like, are you kidding me?
All right. I got a different perspective on this game.
Okay.
All right. That Dallas defense has been awful this year. I mean, awful. It depends on how good their pass rush is. This game. I know Drew Lock isn't exactly not somebody you expect to light it up, but the Cowboys have been bad against the run, and that's what the Giants are going to want to do. They're going to want to run the football. And the Giants have not been great on defense themselves. I mean, they just got lit up this past week by Baker. And Cooper Rush may not be, again, he's not Dak, but he's still got CeeDee Lamb over there. He's still I think Schoonmaker at tight end is a pretty good reserve tight end. And I don't know. I just got this feeling that this could be a little bit of a shootout. And when I say shootout, I'm not saying this could be like 45 to whatever. I'm thinking this could be something like 28-24. Division game, a little bit closer. I think the Cowboys are going to win it, but I think this could be a little higher scoring than we expect. And I think it could be a little bit more exciting than I don't think this is going to be like a 10-7 game.
Okay. All right. I will give Cooper Rush this. He is effective.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's at home on Thanksgiving I know he was banged up a little bit, but I think he'll be fine for the game. The question will be how the Giants approach the offensive scheme with Drew Lock as quarterback. If they stick to running the football pretty heavily and they're effective at it, because again, the Cowboys have been bad at stopping the run, this could turn into somewhat of an interesting game. So I'm saying something like 28-24.
Okay.
For America's sake, I hope you're right, Bob.
I hope so too, because I don't want to be bored on the game. I mean, I'm not invested in it, but
none of us want to be bored on any of these games.
Besides the investment that the three of us have on fantasy, I don't.
Dear God, that was an exercise in torture today.
Oh yeah, it's a lot harder when you only have 3 games to pull from. But I just have a feeling this is going to be a little bit more exciting than we expect. I don't think this is they're not going to score as many as I think the Lions will score. I got a feeling that the Lions are going to go over 30, but we'll see. I just got a feeling.
What do you think,
Derek? I give the chances of a dogfight more to the Chicago and Detroit game, because Chicago's defense has shown up, so they can keep themselves in this if they really try to do as much as they can holding the Detroit offense, as hard as they can. But you're right, it could work out that way in Dallas with New York too. So we'll see. All right, Josh, we're going to give you the floor with this next one. It's your team. They're going to Lambeau. Ugh. It's not going to be pretty weather-wise. No. We know that. You're going to see some of that ice in that beard. You've seen that with those guys there. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
The icicles. What are you thinking? Are we excited about this?
It's funny, Derek. You and I love watching Good Morning Football. And Kyle Brandt this morning said, Miami, I am so tired of talking about this record with under 40-degree weather. He said, this is what you need to do. You forget Tyreek Hill, you forget Waddle, you forget Tua, and you get the reserves, because their reserve players are from Notre Dame, Wisconsin, all the cold weather places.
No, Tyreek Hill played in Kansas City. Come on.
I mean, that's true. He did.
Who?
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill played in Kansas City. Come on.
This is my issue that I'm seeing with Miami. You have McDaniels, who will run a specific offense, a San Francisco type offense with lots of motion and everything, when they're at home or they're playing a team that they know they can beat. But the minute they go to cold weather and a tough team, his play calling completely changes. I want them to come out, throw the ball just like we know they can do, run the ball, use motion, and not be afraid of the cold. They are constantly just afraid of the cold.
They're not afraid of the cold. They just struggle in the cold.
Well, exactly. You got to come in and toughen up and play the way you know how to play. They've won like 3 straight.
They need to spend some money on some cold tank for their practice facility.
But Miami's always had the issue. When Marino was there, we always played Buffalo in December in Buffalo and struggled. So this is nothing new. Huh?
I mean, a lot of teams can go to Buffalo in December and lose.
Yeah. New England. We lost, with the Jets always in December. So they just need to figure out a way. They've got to play defense. They got to, really make Jordan Love struggle. Got to make sure they tackle, and they've got to play their offensive game. Let Tyreek run all over the place.
Bob, you go ahead.
There's only one thing I can say to the Miami Dolphins.
You're not going to have your mommies run behind you anymore and wipe your little douches.
Stop complaining about the weather. Just go out and play. Yeah. Now, here's my thing. I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
You see?
I just don't.
You
look.
Just did it.
No, look, it's not even that. I just think Green Bay is a more physical team.
Yeah, they are.
Look, the Dolphins, like you say, let Tyreek turn around and run all over the place. Tyreek hasn't done anything since Tua came back. Well, since Tua went out.
Yeah.
This has been a bad year for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
and that's
Jalen
not
Waddle's been better.
I'm wondering if he's got some sort of injury or something we don't know about, because he doesn't look like himself. Like, he's on the injury report every week. And so maybe there's something here that we don't really know what's going on. Waddle finally stepped up and had a good game last week. The only consistent, and I'm not even going to say consistent, because when Tua was out, he wasn't looking very good. But the only consistent part of the offense with Tua has been Achane, and now the last couple of games, Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
Those have been the only consistent parts of the Miami Dolphins offense.
Mostert hasn't done anything this year.
Well, I think part of that is because Achane has pretty much taken over the lead role. If you look at the number of carries he's getting as opposed to Mostert is splitting time with Wright.
Yeah.
And they're kind of splitting the number 2 running back spot. This is Achane's backfield.
Yeah.
And he is the more explosive player. But even he's struggling in the running game. Where Achane is really good is coming out of the backfield and catching passes. That's where he's very explosive. So that's what they need to do. The problem is, I think Green Bay is a more physical team. I was talking with Derek on Sunday when I was texting him back and forth saying, hey, I hate to rub in, or rub salt in the wound, but that Packers team, this is a stacked football team.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a good quarterback.
It's right.
Their wide receivers, they're all young. I mean, there's a possibility Romeo Doubs might be out this week. But even if Dobbs is out, you still got Christian Watson. You still got Jaden Reed and Wicks coming into moving up to that number 3 spot. You got Kraft at tight end. These are all young players. We're talking that they're in their second year or in their third year. I think one of them's in their third year. And then you got Josh Jacobs running out of the backfield, who's now all of a sudden beginning to get hot.
Yep.
As the season's gone on, he's gotten better. I just don't see how Miami's going to be able to stop that Green Bay offense, not in Green Bay. And I don't think the Miami offense is physical enough to win the battle in the trenches against that Packer defense.
Does this team remind you of the 95 or 96 Packers, Bob?
Maybe a little bit.
Levens and all those guys?
Maybe. I just think they're very physical.
I don't want to talk about those Packers. They broke my heart year after year after year.
That's the rivalry right there, Niners and Packers.
But they are an extremely physical football team. They are. And it was not a fluke the way they manhandled the 49ers this past week. Now, granted, I know the 49ers, again, were missing their quarterback and whatnot, so there were some circumstances there. But even if Purdy had been there, I still think they would have lost pretty convincingly.
Me too.
And, yeah, that's just a physical football team that's stacked. And I just don't see Miami going in there.
For the Niners?
What?
Who was the backup QB this week for the Niners?
Allen.
Okay.
Yeah, who cares, Allen? That was, just, God damn it. I'm sorry. Anyway, you know what? Josh, look, we've talked about, I'm a big Mike McDaniel fan. I'm glad he gets a chance to head coach in Miami.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan is a big proponent where if he can get people who work underneath him, if they have an opportunity to get a head coaching job, he goes to bat for them because he believes in his people. And I'm happy to see Mike McDaniel there as a result of that. However, having said that, and I'm with Bob, I don't even really think it's about the weather. They just play finesse ball. And at some point, physicality has to kick in.
It's true.
And so especially with any team in the NFC North right now, physicality must kick in.
Right.
And going to Lambeau on their field with this team right now, that is a very physical football team. There's going to be, unless they come out swinging for the fences,
which I don't think they are.
It's going to be it's not going to be likely that the Dolphins are going to have a punch and chance here.
I want them to. I want them to, but look at
I know, but we haven't seen that yet.
Nope. Last 2 years, they can't win. They can't win in cold weather. They can't even.
Well,
Don't even win. They can't even compete.
Yeah, I get. I mean, but at some point, you can't just keep blaming the weather. We live in a very Mediterranean state here in California, right?
Right.
Do you remember the playoff game where the Niners went in and beat the Packers by a field goal? And it was
I get
snowing?
it.
Yeah. It was what was it, like -3, -5, something
I
like
get
that?
it. But then you have to look at the team. Then why, if it's not the weather, are they getting crushed? It's the physicality. And you have to be physical and you have to have that mental toughness. And the weather plays a big part of it. If you go out and you're used to playing in Miami, having the sun on you, and it's 85 degrees, and then you're saying, okay, you're going to Lambeau Field and playing in 10-degree weather with snow. How do you train for that? What are you going to do? Try to drop?
No excuses. Jameis Winston just proved it the other night from Bessemer, Alabama. Played at Florida State. Played with New Orleans and Tampa Bay, and he went in and balled in Cleveland in the Snow Globe game. No excuses whatsoever about the weather. You're either going to be more physical and win the game, or you're not. That's it.
I want Jameis so bad to succeed and win out this year so he gets the starting job.
I'm telling you, that is the happiest 3-8 team I have ever seen in my life.
I don't think he's going to get the job, though.
I don't think so either. I think they're
we
going to turn around.
We need to get Bob a Jameis Winston soapbox for Christmas.
There you go. No, but it's true, though. I mean, look at the way, like, after that game, everybody was praising him as far as commentators and everything because they like what he brings to the game of football. Yeah. But he was balling in a snow game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch some of the passes he was completing, I mean, it was like the elements weren't even there.
No.
He was just completing them. So, no, I'm not going to buy the bad weather from Miami. You go in and execute better than the other team and be more physical, you win.
Well,
I just don't think it's going to happen. I just think Green Bay's too physical because you look at that team, they're stacked and they're hungry. They have been hungry since last year.
Josh has acknowledged that physicality must play a part in this too. Yeah. So
I think that's the most important thing, not the bad weather.
No, okay. We give credit where credit is due.
Fins up.
You're going to need those fins up. Believe me, you will need those fins up. They better have their fins up.
You need Jameis Winston.
That's right. He would play that Snow Globe game.
All right. Just one more side note here, gents. Actually, I didn't expect us to be able to go on like we did about these games, but that was good conversation nonetheless. All right. But just a side note here, Josh, this may make you mad. The Chicago-Detroit game is on CBS. The Giants-Dallas game is on Fox. Yeah. The Miami-Green Bay game is both on NBC and Peacock.
Yes.
We're going to leave Black Friday alone only because we're not covering that. But the Black Friday game is only on Prime Video. That's the only place.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to talk about that other game. I'm offended they wasted my time with it. All right. Anything else to say about the games tomorrow, gents?
No.
All right, let's hope for some good competition, please. Here's to that. Toast.
There you go.
With that, Bob. Number 2, please.
All right.
Folks, the goal of everybody should be exactly what Garfield and Oldie look like on that couch, plump and relaxed and smiling. That's really the idea here. And with that, let's talk about some of the ways and avenues where we get there with our traditions and dishes that we have for all three of us here. Please, this is now as good of a time as any to not only tell you to like this show and subscribe to the show, but please also share in the comments what your traditions were. We would love to read that and would love to hear from you guys on that. So all those things, please do just that. We would love to hear from you. Boy, Thanksgiving is always a fun one. Because here's the beauty about Thanksgiving, and I don't mean any disrespect here, but with a holiday like Christmas, there's a lot of expectations that come with that. Hanukkah even too, Josh, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because those latkes aren't going to make themselves. It's 8 days of
No,
presents.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, come on. And so then there's the Christmas spectacle with how many presents you have to get other people that you probably don't want to give to. Some
What are you talking about? Santa brings all the gifts.
Huh? Anyway, yeah, that's what Santa gave me in that cup. All right. So the beauty of Thanksgiving is that there are no expectations here. The only expectation is to eat and to watch football. That's it. You're good after that. But with that, we all have traditions with Thanksgiving. Let's not kid ourselves. So let's talk about what those were for each of us, and which ones tradition-wise were special for us, as well as some dishes that we would like to shout out. Bob, would you like to go first to kick us off here?
Oh, for me, tradition was always, having Thanksgiving, dinner with the family. I mean, that's obviously one that we all have. And, getting all the Thanksgiving plates out, the ones that have all the Thanksgiving designs on it and stuff, and everything. And it was just always a lot of fun, getting the whole family together and watching football. Well, at least all the guys were going and watching football, and the ladies were laughing at us, screaming at the TV.
That's fair.
So to me, that was always a lot of fun. I haven't really had Thanksgiving with my kids very often because that's always been my ex's holiday with the kids, just because that was always her big thing that she wanted to have. And that's fine with me because I would always kind of celebrate with them later. So it was usually just Thanksgiving, like with my parents and stuff like that, also with Irene. And so that's always been a lot of fun. And as far as the dishes go, give me stuffing. God, I love stuffing. That is my favorite Thanksgiving dish right there. The stuffing, love it. Oh gosh, just give me.
Now's as good of a time as ever to say if you're a subscriber to this show and you don't like stuffing, you can unlike this show right now. We don't need.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Don't like the show. No.
What do you like?
Stay.
What do you like in your stuffing?
My mom always uses a recipe that my grandfather had.
Yeah.
They usually will have like apples in it, nuts, and it even had raisins in it. I'm not a big fan of the raisins, but she always makes a group without the raisins as well.
Nice.
So I've always really liked the stuffing.
Cool.
You could give me stovetop stuffing, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite dish. I also like, as far as the turkey goes, give me the dark meat. I prefer the dark meat to the white meat. And then when it comes to dessert, give me pecan pie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pumpkin's good, but I like the pecan pie. So that's probably my favorite. So those are my dishes. And like I said, traditions is always just to just celebrate with family, watch football all the way into the late evening. So.
All right. That sounds exactly how wholesome America should be, folks.
That's right.
Take a lesson.
I think that picture of Garfield, that was a live picture of me. So.
That's right.
Where you can actually put the Coke Zero on your stomach and have it stay there.
Yes.
Exactly. There you are. Now we're talking. All right. Josh, to you, sir.
All right. Tradition, family, important. Watching football, watching the Lions. I've always enjoyed doing. Even, the Cowboys game, I'll have it on. But actually, as I've been married, we tend to have dinner around 5. So probably we ended up leaving like around 3:30 or 4 because my wife helps out and we do that. But she loves Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving. Now, the dishes. I love stuffing. But I am a purist when it comes to stuffing. I love, onions, celery, maybe apple, and usually that's it. My father-in-law, love him to death, does everything but the kitchen sink stuffing. And to me, it drives me crazy. He knows this. He will do.
That's why he makes it.
I know, he does it to make you mad.
He will do the onions. Yeah, just fight me. He will do the onions. He will do, the apples. He will do nuts. Then he will do 5 different types of sausages. He will.
I can already see that. He probably calls Lisa up. He's like, "Hey, is he coming this year?" Yes, he's coming.
He won't
All
do-
right,
he-
I'm
the
gonna
only
make
thing he
the
won't
stuff.
put in there
Yep.
because of the mushrooms. But he will put everything in. No, I am purist. In fact, they're out of town right now, but my sister-in-law is doing it tomorrow, and she has his recipe, but she's leaving the meat out. So it's just going to be the onions, celery, apples, maybe cherries, which could be
Okay.
interesting, or cranberries. And then I love the green bean casserole. Oh, green bean casserole is so good. And then for dessert, I love pecan pie. Love it, but I also love pumpkin. This time of year, always love a pumpkin pie. My wife makes a sour cream apple pie, which is incredible, which is on our counter right now.
Nice.
And I'm trying to, and turkey is, I love turkey. I'll eat the white meat and the dark meat. My wife gets it very juicy and crispy. Oh, it's so good. And then with the cranberry, I love it all. I really love it all. The sweet potatoes with the marshmallows on it, can be good. But just
I like
love
the
it.
sweet potatoes, not with the marshmallows, though.
Oh, okay.
I guess
mashed potatoes.
Well, okay, no. Now I'll get to my dish. I shouldn't have said anything. Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm hungry. I'm waiting to eat.
Okay, I'll talk about our traditions first because it's been on and off with my family, actually. Some years we would actually go out of town for Thanksgiving. Now, it wasn't like, we would, hey, for Thanksgiving, let's go over to London where we don't have to celebrate it. It wasn't like that. But it was like we would go to, for example, I think one year we went to a place called the Sonoma Mission Inn. Josh, you'll know where that is because it's actually in Sonoma when I took you and Jake there.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It's run by the Fairmont. And one year we went to their spa, and their spa is maybe one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen.
Oh.
It is exquisite. Here, I actually pulled up a picture to show you guys if you're interested in seeing it.
Let's see it.
All right, hold on. Where am I at? Okay, here we go.
All right, let me add it here.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm. So this is like that. This place is the hallway where you walk in. That is maybe the biggest hot tub I've ever seen in my life.
Just give me the turkey and let me eat it in there.
That's, you know what? It's not a bad idea. However, I don't think the other guests would take too kindly to that.
Give me a turkey leg.
Who cares about the other guests?
Yeah, screw. What am I talking about? I paid to be in here. I'll bring my turkey in here if I want to.
There you go.
Exactly.
But this is one of the biggest hot tubs I've ever seen, and it is the perfect temperature. It's that temperature right before the water gets too hot.
Oh.
You know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And there is, like, right over there is the hugest steam room I've ever seen in my life.
Oh.
And they're not showing it here, but if you go diagonally the other way, there's a sauna that's basically like spans the wall. It's really, really cool. So I can't complain about that because I'm going to stop sharing here. I can't complain about that because that out-of-town experience was really, really cool. And it wasn't like it was far away. Josh, there was a year that we spent Thanksgiving in Chandler. I don't know why.
In where?
Chandler, Arizona.
Really? Arizona?
Yes. I don't know why. There was a nice hotel there, and they're like, why don't we go there? Okay, fine. So we went there. However, besides, a couple of exhibition trips here and there, most of it was surrounding family. Family was big. It was usually my dad's side of the family. My dad, did you see my dad's brother at my wedding, Josh?
Yeah, probably.
Jim.
Yeah.
So my dad was Tim.
That's funny.
They look very, very similar.
Yeah, I must have.
Yeah, he's usually over with my Aunt Marilyn. More on her in a moment. My cousin Maggie.
Maggie and
Yep, Maggie, you know. And then there was my cousins Kevin and Beth. And now if we do meet up, it's with all their sides too. And I hate to bring the mood down here, but ever since my mom passed, it's been a little bit trickier to kind of figure out what we're doing. We've been talking about trying to rekindle the flame and get the family back together. But it was hard because Thanksgiving was always a big deal to my mom, and I can get into the details of that. I won't here, but we were able to, for a very long time, get our family together, and it was cool because now, Kevin and Beth have their families. Maggie has her family. I have my family. My sister has her family. So it got bigger and bigger, and it was great. Now, my favorite tradition, though, if I may, was when we got old enough, Maggie, my sister, and I would go down or far away in order to get just the right amount of wasted to be social enough, but not to a point where it would just like come off as like too easy to see that we were trashed. But, just with enough of this and, something green that it was enjoyable, because sometimes, there's some certain members of the family that you're like, oh God, I got to talk to Uncle Moore. And you're just like, God, I might as well make it interesting. So and the three of us would go down and find a place to have a fun time together and get some real family time in. And by the time you get to the kitchen table or the dinner table after that, boy, everything was tasty. It was delightful. Talking was over at that point. I was eating. And then you go to bed. And that was probably my favorite tradition. Now, having said that, shout out Aunt Marilyn, where are you? You guys were talking about pecan pie and pumpkin pie. She makes both. And I'm talking crust from scratch.
Who does?
Nice.
My Aunt Marilyn.
Oh, really?
She is an expert pie maker. She's maybe the best that I've ever come across.
Oh, that's beautiful.
She learned it from yay high. She's an expert at it. My mom made a really good mac and cheese dish that was pretty good that you would slide in the oven there. Stuffing is always great. My mom made a great stuffing too. And my aunt also made a great stuffing. They actually took a year where
gotta have the gravy on the stuffing.
I don't know. Gravy is a little hit and miss for me.
Oh,
I don't know about. I get a little suspect on gravy sometimes. I've had very good gravy that I like, and I've had gravy that I could do without. But I guess it's I have the beholder on that one. But I will say that stuffing I can always eat. Nuts, I'm not so keen on having in stuffing, but it doesn't mean I won't eat it. Fine. I'll get past that.
What do you want in your stuffing?
1 year, my mom and my aunt made a cornbread stuffing.
Oh God, I bet that was good.
And it was absolutely awesome. But I asked my mom to make it again, and she goes, Derek, that took too much work. I'm never doing that again. No. And I said, okay, well, you know what? That's fair. I didn't make it. But I will never forget that stuffing. I would want everything in that stuffing every chance I could get.
Nice.
But if we're just going, off the cuff, I'm not against a little bit of sage in my stuffing. A little, not an overdone amount. Yeah. And I know that's a little bit, of a California essence there, but I don't mind it. I think it's pretty good if done right. But then, outside of that, just the classics, all the stuff that we like in stuffing. I've had one where it had bacon in it, and that was delightful.
Oh, it was interesting.
Yeah, it was. Because the bacon was, pretty small in terms of the size, but it gave it a really good flavor, as bacon does with everything.
I would hope that it was small. I wouldn't want to find like big old bacon slices.
Big old strips. Yeah, no.
Here's a strip of bacon in my sausage.
No, look at what I got here.
And they put it in just the right time. They crumbled all of it, and then when they were pouring the sauce in for the stuffing, that's when they put the crumbs in with the sauce, and then they stirred it all in together. It was very well done.
Oh, I'm so hungry right now. Good
I know.
God.
See, that's the beauty of Thanksgiving. And
Yep.
so the mac and cheese was very good. The pies were always good. The stuffing was great. Green bean casserole, I'm down, but that usually has to be made by my aunt too, because not too many people can pull that off. That's a tough one to do, at least on my side. You know, if there's family members out there who are very, very good at it, all to you, all the props in the world. But I haven't found that on my side. My mom made great garlic mashed potatoes.
Ooh.
Fantastic. And then my aunt made sweet potatoes, not with the marshmallows though. So I don't know, maybe the marshmallows threw me off or something. But I mean, what can we say? Everything's great. Now, when it comes to turkey, I'll do both white meat and dark meat. But here's what you do: you make sure you have leftovers always.
Of course.
Because what do you do with the leftovers?
Make a sandwich.
You make a sandwich. What's on the sandwich, Josh?
The stuffing, the turkey, the cranberry sauce.
That's one sandwich. What's the other sandwich?
Open face?
You could do it open face, but basically what you do is you make a Russian dressing, which is basically at 1,000 Island. You do raw onions with cheddar, but you melt the cheddar on it. You toast it up. And then you put a little coleslaw on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna top that sandwich.
Please do it.
With that leftover turkey every year, my mom turns around and makes a homemade turkey pot pie.
Ooh. That's a beautiful thing right there. I think you just won it.
Yeah, that I kid you not, that thing is wonderful.
Oh,
and, it's wonderful. Like, and then with the leftover pot pie, I eat it for breakfast. I eat it for lunch.
Yeah, absolutely, you do.
It's wonderful.
I'd be asleep for a month after I finish that thing.
Oh, it is delicious. Gosh,
that's a great idea. Creamy, very creamy.
Man, it's good.
Oh my God. You know, we used to go the tradition when my dad was alive, and we remember, as you guys know this, of the country club. We went there every year. Just because it was easy, and and they had great food. But then obviously when I moved here, and then Lisa and I met and got married and everything, we've started our own tradition.
There.
That's awesome. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. It's great.
Yeah, now I'm really hungry.
Yeah, I know.
Which I guess wasn't supposed to be like at this point in the time.
Well, now let me ask you this: what time do you guys eat your Thanksgiving meal tomorrow?
Depends.
Okay,
we're gonna eat at 3 our time.
Okay, yeah. Eric.
I've had times where we've eaten it like around lunchtime. I've had times where we've eaten it around 6.
So, what are you eating leading up to the dinner? Are you trying
Nothing.
to eat
You fast? Yeah, no,
are you fasting? Or are you so you can just pig out?
Yeah,
I'll eat something light. I'll eat something light, and then save the rest until
workout
3:00, and that's the only meal. Then I'll eat the rest of the day.
Bob may not believe in salads very often, but you know what? This is the time where it calls for one.
I don't think I've ever seen Bob eat a salad. Now that
I like salads.
Yeah, but I've never.
You may not have ever seen it because every time we've gone out, we do something where we eat junk.
I know,
but no, I like salads. Don't you remember one of my favorite restaurants used to be Super Salad?
True.
What do you think I was eating there? You think I walked in? I'll take the lobster and.
Well, we never ate there. We ate like Cece's Pizza. We ate.
No, but what I mean is, I went to Super Salad. What do you think I was eating there?
Honestly, I forgot that you ate at Super Salad.
That was one of my favorite restaurants.
Did they go under, or are they still there?
Yeah, I think so, because I haven't seen one around here in a long time. They might have one still on the east side, but I'm not sure.
Bob just reminded me. Bob, were you into Caesars?
What do you mean Caesars? Like the
Caesar salad?
Oh yeah, I mean I like Caesars. I prefer though like a house salad.
Fair enough.
Caesar salad.
But I will do a Caesar salad. Give me some good chicken on that.
Yeah, my mom actually, I was about to say, my mom would make her own dressing, and she would actually put some shrimp in there. But it was like jumbo prawns, actually, that she would throw in.
That's epic.
And that's, you know what, we're going to get into the spring season, and that's when you have that meal. So She taught me how to make the dressing. I just got to go get the prawns from Costco. I'll see you boys in April.
You know what you need for the Caesar? Homemade croutons.
Yep, she made those too.
To me, that's important for the Caesar.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't care if they're homemade or not. Just throw them on there. I'll take croutons anyway.
Yeah, Buttercup.
How about anchovies? You like anchovies in your Caesar?
No. I mean, it's fine on the dressing itself because I don't like a dressing that's too cheesy. But like on the Caesar, no. That's a bad
I was
idea.
hungry until you mentioned anchovies. God.
Yeah,
you ruined that one.
I know. It's like fish in salt form.
Ugh.
Yes. My dad loved anchovies and sardines.
He was that guy.
Oh, God.
He was brave.
Yeah.
Love them.
Brave man. Brave soul.
Love
All right.
them.
Okay. That was a good one. Anything else with this topic, gents?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Josh, you want to leave now?
I'm so sad on this.
Bob, if you would.
That's why I was in a bad mood.
I'm not even going to say anything. Bob, take it away.
All right. So last week, during our recap, we found out that Derek won it all, and he put it on Josh and I.
You bunch of losers!
Still good.
It gets better every week. How is that possible?
It does.
One video.
It's completely grown on me.
Yeah, unfortunately, this week we got more of the same. Mm-hmm. Only it was a lot worse than the week before. So, let's go ahead and get into it. And Josh, you're back where you belong. In the rear. That is 7 out of 12 times you have finished in last place.
This is, I don't care anymore. This is absolutely bullshit.
Bullshit. Okay, I got to point this out because Josh said that if he lost with this lineup, we were going to see a grown man cry.
That's true. And, he did say that.
Uh-oh.
No, Josh, you went with C.J. Stroud. I actually think that was a decent pick at home against Tennessee. However, Tennessee decided to show up.
I'm gonna cry.
Mixon, I think that was kind of an interesting play simply because usually the quarterback doesn't correlate well with the running back. But
you talked to me about stacking from the same team.
Yeah, but running backs tend not to correlate well with the quarterback, unless you get one who's like a heavy pass catcher, like an H.N. Mixon had a down day, but oh gosh, it was bad. 9.5 for Mixon, and actually, I think a lot of those points are because he got 5 receptions. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, H.N. did fine with 20.6. He did get a couple of receiving touchdowns, which really helped out. Marvin Harrison continues to be hit or miss. 7.7. Cortland Sutton did well for you, 29.7. Khalif Raymond, 0 points. Brock Bowers, 7.8. Big disappointment for Bowers. Kroll from Denver. I know you picked him just because you needed some money. I don't know why you didn't go with Schoonmaker, who was the same price.
Yeah.
0 points. The Commanders, 4 points. Your final score was 96.98. Final verdict?
I'm Ted Stroman. I'm here to take Mary to the prom.
Prom? Mary went to the prom 20 minutes ago with her boyfriend, Woogie.
Okay, that just made everything better. I'm just going to let you know. I don't care if I lost. The fact that you found that video, A+. That's all I can say.
I figured you'd like that one.
That was good.
The prom? That's a prom with Woogie.
He went to prom with Woogie.
Oh. Now we get
Okay, goodbye, Ted. Goodbye.
Get into second place. Unfortunately, for some reason, all season long, I have been living in second place.
And you picked Mixon too.
Yeah. Not only that, Josh, I also had H.N. I also had Bowers, and I had Sutton. So I had 4 in the same place. I went with DeVito as a money saver because quarterbacks tend to have a low or have a pretty high floor, and so he at 4K he really didn't hurt me with 10.76 points. Mixon again had a bad day. Achan we already discussed. Sutton we talked about. I went with Calvin Ridley. He did fine with 14.3. He did have one big catch, which got him most of his yards. I was hoping he'd get one more catch and get that 100-yard bonus, because then you get an extra 3 points out of that. Keishawn Boutte, I went back to him simply because I needed a money saver. I was hoping to get more out of him. Bowers, again, a disappointment. Went with Kareem Hunt. He was okay at 11.7, but I was really hoping for more. The Vikings defense finally allowed Chicago to score a lot of points. And they only had 7. My final score was 112.96. Final verdict.
Yes, I remember.
It didn't go well for me either.
Oh my god!
I thought you'd like that.
Yes, I remember.
I love it today, right there.
So good.
So now let's go ahead and get to our champ for the week for his first back-to-back win.
Let's not.
Eric.
I'm so tired of
Okay,
looking.
Jaden Daniels at 32.4. I actually played Jaden Daniels in my money lineup. So I was happy that he did well. I mean, it didn't help for our lineup, but he did help win me some money. So I'm not going to fault him. Achan you had as well. Rashad White, imagine if you had gone with Irving instead of
I know.
White, because they were around the same price.
I would have been on another Galaxy.
Oh yeah. Bell at with 14 points. I thought he was a really good play. I also played him in my money lineup. Nico Collins, I thought was a really good play. 20.2. What was funny is because Josh had Stroud, and I told Derek, I was like, you know what? Josh would be all happy if Stroud scores, but he better hope that Collins doesn't catch the touchdown.
No, and he did.
And then Ridley, you had your best play, McBride.
That is cool.
I thought that was a great play. Cool. Not a great play because he has big games in him. If you look at it, the way he's played historically over the last couple of years, he has big games in him.
I didn't think it was going to be that because it was a divisional matchup. I didn't think he had much of a chance in that one, but man.
You know what's funny? I could have used this exact same lineup, and I probably would have scored -5 points. Derek uses this lineup and scores 145. Did you use ChatGPT? Just admit it.
No, he doesn't use ChatGPT. That's a good lineup.
No. ChatGPT wouldn't given you that.
No, it's a lineup that makes sense, Josh. And Pearsall, I think, was again a play that made sense, but simply I think what hurt him was without the quarterback, and again they were playing against a very physical football team.
Where's he getting the money
the Bears, you went with a cheap defense to give yourself some extra money.
That's where I went with the money, Josh.
Your final score was 145.5 points. Final verdict. I got to say that was epic. So,
that was good.
So we're on to our leaderboard. Derek, you're in the lead with 5. Josh, you got 4 wins. I'm in the rear at 3. And we are going to be doing the Thanksgiving contest tomorrow, so that should be fun. We'll probably just briefly mention that next week, and we'll still focus on the Sunday games for the recap. But that will get added into the overall score.
That's going to be, God, man.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting because we're all pulling
from tomorrow is figuring how all of us are going to do.
We're all pulling from 3 games, so that makes it a little bit more difficult because we got to find a way to differentiate from each other.
That's really going to be anybody's day. I mean, it always is anybody's day.
This one I think this one is more luck than it is strategy. Like the others, I think there's more strategy because there's more games. This one, I think, is, on the other hand, more luck.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know if I thought outside of the box for tomorrow or not. I'm kind of thinking. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't even know how much strategy I had with
Yeah,
this.
when you got less games, it's more like a lottery.
Yeah, I had some strategy, but not.
I mean, there is a little bit of strategy, but the problem is when you got 3 games, there are such obvious plays on the board that you got to find a way to differentiate yourself, because all 3 of us look at that and we're like, okay, yeah, this guy's an obvious play. This guy's an obvious play. This guy's an obvious play. So it's a lot more difficult. So I think,
but was it just me, guys, or were there only like 3 or 4 different dimensions where you could do that? Where it was like, okay, I'm going to get creative on this one because of this.
Yeah, like, it's a lot more. It's a lot trickier. Yeah. And so we'll see how it goes.
I'm curious where you guys went on quarterback.
We'll
see.
I'm curious where you guys went on quarterback.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Because I have a feeling Bob and I might be having the same quarterback. And I have a feeling you have it, but I don't want to say anything. I don't know.
Well, all 3 of us could have the same one, too.
Yeah, that's the thing. But we all have to think about how we're going to differentiate from the others, because it doesn't do any good if we end up with the same lineup.
No, that's true.
I don't think we have the same lineup at all.
So
I think the chances of that are pretty unlikely, but
we're going to have
we're going to have very similar ones.
That's it right there. We're going to have very similar lineups, because I think when you look at it, there's about 4 or 5 plays that are obvious plays. It's like, okay, well, I got to have this guy. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to have all 4 or 5 of them. But when you look at it initially, you're like, okay, I got to pull from these 4 or 5 players.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it'll be good.
Well, congratulations.
I mean, we'll see. I just have a feeling that at the end of the game, or at the end of the day, I might end up being like,
yes, I remember.
Derek, you know what that's from, right?
I've seen it before, but I can't remember right now.
It's from the Pink Panther Strikes Again. It's Clouseau.
That was it. Yes.
Bobby and I love that movie. That's our favorite one. So that's why he.
I remember like seeing that clip, but I hadn't seen it for so long.
No, it's very old.
Saw it again. I'm like, oh god, that brought me back, man.
My dad loved that movie. We watched it. My father-in-law loves that movie. Like everyone we know.
Well, that's going to be. I mean, that's got to be a staple now with all the clips that we have. We have. So
and I got to keep that one, because that's between that one and jumping out the window from Airplane. Those are going to be 2 of our go.
We keep that one. We keep You Bunch of Losers. You keep the Home Alone. I am going to take my Matrix one though and make a shirt out of that. Because
awesome. I figured you'd like that one. And Josh, I knew you would love the Something About Mary one.
That was Woogie. Yeah.
Dude, I kid you not, man. When I was putting those clips together, and I thought of that clip for you, man, I was laughing so hard because you had just such utter disappointment for your lineup, and watching Ben Stiller with the utter disappointment to find out that Mary had gotten to the prom with Woogie.
I literally looked at my lineup last week. I'm like, oh, this is a good lineup, because I'll be honest with you guys. I was banking on Mixon, who has been incredible for my other fantasy league all year. And I'm like, oh, he's going to give me a ton of points. And then CJ Stroud. Then I was looking at the lineup. Houston going against Tennessee. And then as the game started and Tennessee's competing with them, I was like, oh, crap.
Bob was right about those games. They were both good.
Yeah.
And they were both competitive. I went with Nico Collins, but I can't remember where I went with Tennessee, but I had a feeling that both of the offensive sides of that game could score. Thank you. Yes, Calvin Ridley. Yes. I had a feeling that both those sides could score offensively.
See, when I talk about stacking, Josh, that's a perfect example of a stack right there.
Right, quarterback and receiver.
Side, where he had one player from each game where he felt that the offenses could turn around and score, and you just hope you get the right pieces.
That's it.
Well, Derek, congratulations on the win this week, and congratulations on the win next week, because I'm sure you'll win again. Some miracle.
I'm putting my hand up right now like Neo, blocking your bullet.
Ridiculous. All right, let's finish this up. Let's get to the last one.
Well, let's finish up is right, because, gentlemen, let's go to war. Bob, if you would.
War Games!
War Games! War Games!
Is that William Regal?
Yeah.
Yes!
That's what I thought.
Hold on, here. You got to see that again.
War Games! War Games! War Games! That's good. You weren't kidding. You're right.
I told you it was perfect because I put the intro together, and Derek, as a joke, sent me the clip from William Regal, all the times that he said War Games. Well, I found a right spot where I could use just the audio and threw it in there.
Very good. And that's why I said let's go to war, folks, because we're going to be talking some wrestling here. And you know what?
Thanksgiving wrestling.
Thanksgiving.
We're keeping with our Thanksgiving theme.
Hey,
we're talking about
Survivor Series is after Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, but it's still technically the Thanksgiving.
It's still around Thanksgiving. It's always been around Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving. You're going to have some leftovers. Have some Thanksgiving wrestling.
The Thanksgiving night tradition.
Okay, so there you go. Folks, War Games this year, Survivor Series is one of the big four of WWE, as we all know. We're wrestling fans here. It is this Saturday, November 30th, as we speak here. It will be out of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Second time for a PLE in Canada this year at the Rogers Arena. Very excited about this one. But Survivor Series has always been a staple, and we haven't had a chance to really talk about it in terms of favorite Survivor Series memories. So why don't we start the conversation there, and then we'll get into the turkey and trimmings of this. Bob, any favorite Survivor Series moments?
Oh gosh, I remember a lot of those early Survivor Series, where you had the traditional teams, and I remember one particular Survivor Series where they started it with like all the wrestlers saying what they were thankful for.
Yes,
and it was hilarious because sometimes they would include their feud in the their intro. Like I remember this one where Ravishing Rick Rude is like, "I'm thankful because I have the most ravishing body in the WWF." Very next one is Roddy Piper, and he's like, "I'm thankful because I hate Ricky Rude." So that was pretty cool, you know. And you got the $1 Million Man. I'm thankful because I'm rich and you're not. You know, and so I remember that
Jake the Snake Roberts, where he said, "I'm thankful for my dinner," and Damien's as well.
Yeah. So I think those were cool. Some of those traditional matches. I remember the one year that they had like a winner take all, where all the survivors ended up against each other, and that was
we watched that in college, Josh.
It was Hogan, Warrior, and Tito Santana.
Tito Santana, yep.
Against, that one. Who were they?
The $1 Million Man and the Visionary.
Yeah. Who was in the Vision?
Rick Martel.
Was the model in that too? Or?
Yeah, Rick Martel. The Warlord, I think, was on that team.
Something like that.
Power Glory.
If I remember the faces,
Power and Glory.
If I remember, the faces were actually shorthanded one.
5-3. 5-3.
Yeah. So I remember they did that, and it ended up that Warrior and Hogan were the sole survivors.
Right, 1990, right?
And I point that out because that particular year, simply because they had already passed the torch to Warrior.
Yeah.
But they always kept Hogan around because he was their moneymaker. And you could kind of see it then that they were regretting the choice to do it. And so that's why I point that one out. Also, I remember when they would do like the SmackDown versus Raw matches. Those were pretty cool. And you would always have the champion versus champion.
Yeah.
I remember that one year that they had Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan. And I remember that being a pretty decent match.
That was a good one.
So, yeah, that one was a good one. So those are just some of my favorite memories for Survivor Series.
Okay. Very good. Josh?
Okay, I've got a bunch of them. And by the way, the Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan was good, but also Lesnar versus AJ Styles.
Yeah, that was the other one.
Good.
In fact, Paul Heyman went up to AJ afterwards and said, "You are the best wrestler we have right now," which was huge. It was on like the AJ Styles 24 WWE Network 24.
On the documentary there, yeah.
Okay, so these are mine. The original Survivor Series, because it's the one that started it all, and Andre winning it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hogan got eliminated, and Andre beat Bam Bam Bigelow and won it. Then
That's
we
right.
had,
Mhm.
yeah, and everyone was kind of shocked by that. Another one, I do like the one 1990 that Bobby said with the Visionaries,
great.
Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
1994 I liked, and I liked 94 for a variety of reasons. Number one, you got the big Diesel push. And when Shawn Michaels super kicked him and he chased him out of the arena in San Antonio, you had the whole Bret Hart and Bob Backlund match with Owen Hart begging his mother to throw the towel. Please, Mom.
Owen Hart. Oh, God, the worst.
He's hurting him. And then the main event where you had Taker coming back with the purple against Yokozuna.
Chuck Norris.
Yes, and Jeff Jarrett comes down. It's so cheesy, but it's great. It's Jeff Jarrett. So you had that one. And then how can we not forget the Montreal Screwjob?
I know. I was going to say that one too.
Like shocked it all. That changed everything. And then, I was thinking, I really liked the one from last year. I thought the one from last year with Orton coming back was good, and
that was fantastic. It was a great show.
It was good. I'm trying to think what other. Is there any other one I'm missing? The one I never saw to this day that I really should watch is the one. What was it called? Survivor Series Deadly Games, when Rock wins the title in the tournament.
You never saw the tournament?
I don't think I ever saw the tournament.
Josh.
I don't think I ever saw that tournament. I think that's the only one I don't think I've seen, because he screws him over, right? And beats McFoley in the finals.
Okay. I was going to mention this in my favorite moments.
Yeah.
The tournament itself you don't watch that for the matches. You don't. Okay. You watch it for the ending. Because it's very well done. It's really good.
No, that's good. Tell me your favorite, Sterico.
All right, I'll tell you mine. All the early ones, of course. Come on. I mean, that's just good, clean fun.
Traditional Survivor Series matches.
There was a promo I saw with Roddy's Rowdies.
Okay.
Which consisted of Roddy Piper captaining a team with the Bushwhackers and Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Yes.
And they're doing this promo backstage, and the only one that can seem to speak English is Roddy Piper. And it's not coherent at all. Like, at some point, he's just like, ooh, them bones. He starts singing.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's good stuff. Come on.
Hey, let's not forget our favorite one, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. Speaking of pumpkin pie, Monsoon, you had a whole pumpkin pie last night. Would you stop?
Oh, Bobby Heenan in '93 with Bret Hart and his brothers wrestling and Stewart. Gentlemen, excuse me 1 second. Hey, Stu, wake up! You better not do that, Brain, or he'll come over here and knock you out. Well, that'll take him all of the time in the world. By the time that happens, we'll be off the air.
That's when Owen grabbed Brett, right? From the ring.
That was when it started with Owen.
That's when they started planting the seeds.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. That was 93. Also in 93, actually, I'm going to send Bob this clip because I think he'd enjoy it. The Foreign Fanatics versus the All-Americans. Tatanka got completely beat up.
That was Lex Luger's team, right?
That was, yep.
Okay.
And the replacement for Tatanka was The Undertaker. And when they did the interview where they announced him as the replacement for Tatanka, he opened up his Reaper jacket, and it was an old colonial flag. It was pretty cool. And a huge pop. It was great. What other memories? Montreal Screwjob, yes, of course. 1998 Deadly Game. That tournament, Josh. Yeah, go back and watch it, but you have to know that you're there for the ending.
Yeah.
The 2002 Survivor Series often gets forgotten about. That was the first Elimination Chamber.
Oh, that when Shawn Michaels won.
Yep.
Yes, we saw that. We did watch
Yep,
that together.
we did.
Yeah, I do
And that
remember.
whole Survivor Series is nuts.
Yeah.
It starts off with like this out of control tables match. Who was that with? It was like it was Jeff Hardy and Bubba and Spike Dudley facing 3-minute warning. I'm looking at it right now. Remember that?
Oh my God! You have 3 minutes.
So there was that one. What else did pretty good back then? The ones you mentioned just on the the later time scale, or the more current one, Josh. Lesnar and AJ, Lesnar and Danielson. Huh?
Yeah, and then there was one where Hunter was part of the Survivor Series group, and Shinsuke came in and he fought with him, and they were yelling NXT. I don't know what year that. That was
nice. NXT had it. There was the NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. They all had their own teams.
Yes.
That was big.
I remember that one.
You mentioned 93 with The Undertaker. I love the part. I just watched it the other day. I think when Yokozuna grabs Taker underneath the ropes, hits him in the, puts his head in the stairs, and Taker rises up and just stares at him. And when they were going back to show the footage, you hear Bobby Heenan say, "I am a weasel." like he had said.
We forget, God, there's another guy that we're forgetting about. The Undertaker debuted at Survivor Series.
Yes, 1990.
I was 10 years old when that happened.
And got into a fight with Coco Beware afterwards.
Well, there's that. Yeah. All right. Well, that was good sharing. What do you say we get into the actual event here, guys?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right. We'll start with the trimmings, and then we'll get into the turkey, because we know what the turkey is, don't we?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. All right. Let's start off with a fun one. Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight. Yeah! Okay. Thank you, Bob. Absolutely necessary. Josh, to you, sir.
I'm going to give it to Shinsuke. I think Bobby and I talked about this. LA Knight hasn't done a lot with that U.S. title, and even Bob said he thought Logan Paul did more with that title than a lot of people have in many years. See, I do listen, Bob. And I think
Shinsuke... the one time,
the one time. I think Shinsuke needs to. He's been gone, and I love him. I still love his original gimmick. I don't know what this new one is, but I definitely think Shinsuke should win this match and see if he can get the U.S. title, going again. Do we have too many titles? Yes, we do. But let's see what happens.
Okay. Bob, your thoughts?
I have a feeling a title's going to change hands at War Games, and this is the one I think is going to change hands. Okay. I'm also going with Shinsuke. My thing with LA Knight is it's not that I think LA Knight is a bad wrestler or anything like that. I mean, I think he's awesome. The issue that I got, and the reason why I say I think Logan Paul did more with it, it's not that he wrestled more. We both know that we all know that that's not the case. But with Logan Paul, because of the type of personality that he is, he's a social media influencer, all of this, that title actually became an elite title that people wanted to go after. With LA Knight, it really does feel like a mid-card title. And I mean, I know it is a mid-card title, but it was just something that it felt more elevated when Logan Paul had it, because he was wrestling main eventers and stuff. And Knight, he's defending it on SmackDown, against mid-carders. So I think this is cool that he's actually going to be defending it here. I like the fact that Shinsuke's been away for a while. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And I just think that this is an opportunity to put a title on Shinsuke. And like I said, I think one of them's changing hands on that night, and I think it's going to be this one.
I really hope you're right on this one. I've been a Shinsuke fan for a long time, and I've loved the incarnation that they've come up with for Shinsuke. That is basically like it's a foreign comic villain, and now it has an element of like a horror movie to him. It's really, really creative. And what's even more creative is that they take his promos and they turn them into art.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really awesome way to do things. I love that presentation. And I love LA Knight too. Now, Bob, let me challenge you on this. You're right about LA, like you're right about Logan Paul and the fact that he did elevate the title. I would make the case though that the heels that LA Knight would have to work off now that he has to work off of, can't come close to what Logan Paul was.
I agree with that. And we've talked about this as well. Cody Rhodes has the same problem because it's how do you top Roman Reigns?
Your bloodline or nothing. Like that's kind of what it is right now.
Yeah. So it's when I see people trashing like Cody's reign or even LA Knights, and I'm not trashing the reign. I'm just saying it hasn't felt to me like an elevated title. And again, that's not necessarily his fault because I think LA Knight is awesome. Yeah. I think though that what they're going to do is do a title change to try to get some interest level. And you could start a feud with Shinsuke here and maybe LA Knight gets it back from him. And I think you could develop something here. I just think that this is going to happen because I do think one title is going to change hands. And I think it's going to be this one.
So I will also make another point because I think long game with all this, and my eyes are on Vegas. Yes, Josh, I'm sorry. That's where all eyes are going to go here. I do think there's a very big possibility that Shinsuke does win this, holds it on for a while, but keeps a feud with LA Knight. Because there is a good chance that I think LA Knight could face Kevin Owens at Mania for that title.
That would be good.
That would be good.
I think that Shinsuke would do a great job making an artistic feud with LA Knight. That's what LA Knight needs. He needs substance to work off of. Shinsuke can provide that.
Yes.
And Shinsuke can also take that and work with that to get what may happen for him in Vegas. So it's a win-win if Shinsuke is to get the win here.
Well, I told Bobby the other night about LA Knight. The problem, he was so over a year and a half ago. Incredibly over.
Yeah.
They put him against Reigns, though, in Saudi Arabia, and he wasn't going to win. And I felt it was a mistake to put him in that main event slot because I felt like after he lost, he went downhill.
Well, okay, two things with that. Number one, Roman Reigns going to Saudi at that point, whoever was going to be in the ring with him was
going to lose.
Yeah, that was it. Because we all knew what the match was supposed to be. The match was going to be him and Cody. That was it.
Right. Correct. That was the end game.
That was the end game. So you can only do so much with the talent that you have at that time and the positioning there. So I can't put that totally on LA Knight. Now, the problem was once LA Knight did lose, he did fizzle. There was that. Now, he got it back. He got it back with AJ. But there have been periods now where there's been, sizzle and shine with LA Knight. So maybe hopefully this feud with Shinsuke will keep the shine on both of them. So,
and it very well could because because LA Knight, like I said, I think he's awesome. I think he's got good personality and I think he's a good in-ring worker. And Shinsuke is, like you said, he's artistic.
Unreal.
He's a great in-ring presence. He's a good ring worker. I think this could be a good feud for both of them.
Yeah, he's got charisma up to Yahoo, does Shinsuke. Both of them do.
By the way, Derek, you just came out with a great tag team name, Sizzle and Shine.
Sizzle and Shine. Yep.
I like that.
Well, that sounds like more of a Divas tag team.
Power and Glory. Wow.
Yeah, that's a Divas tag team.
That's a women's tag team. I don't know who that's going to be, but you know what? Take that, NXT. If you want to put that on somebody, feel free. I don't mind. All right, that's up for grabs. Okay, let's move on to our next one here. Let's talk about the triple threat that's going to happen for the Intercontinental title. We got the champion Braun Breaker defending against Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus. This is an interesting one. I didn't see this one coming. I mean, they were building up to it on Raw, but I did not see this at Survivor Series. So, Josh, take it away.
I mean, we were just talking before the show went on the air, and I said, are they pushing Ludwig? Is he going to end up winning the title? I don't know what they're doing with Braun Breaker. Are they
Yeah.
still pushing him?
Mhm.
But I think about what Bob said. He thinks there might be only one title change, and he thinks it's the Nakamura match. So I'm going to assume, I guess my instinct is Breaker retains. Could be an interesting match, but would not be surprised if Kaiser wins this, which could be very interesting.
Yeah.
Sheamus isn't winning. I don't think Sheamus wins.
Hmm.
Right?
Rob, what do you think?
Okay, so this match feels like it's the start of a joke.
So an Irishman, a German, and
An Irishman, a German,
an American and a German and an Irishman walk into a bar, and so it does feel like it's the beginning of a joke here. But I don't. I think Braun Breaker wins simply because I don't think they take the title off him that quickly a second time.
Right.
So for that reason, because I think they put the title on Jey Uso simply so they could get him back into the Bloodline feud.
Yeah.
And so I think they do want to have a little run with Braun Breaker here.
Okay.
I would love to see Kaiser win because I like Kaiser. Kaiser's hilarious. I think he's great. I love his entrance on the last Royal Rumble where he's walking in. He's got
the Royal Rumble,
and you see somebody who's eliminated walking by, and he's like,
yeah,
watching him go by. And it was funny because as I was watching that, I had it on, and I was at Irene's apartment, and I had it on, and she was laughing at that one particular part. She's not really a wrestling fan or anything like that, but
That's fine.
She was watching it because I was watching it, and she laughed at that. So if he could get Irene to laugh, I mean, he's good. So
yeah, he's good.
So I like Kaiser. I'd love to see him win it because I hope he gets a push. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I'm taking Braun Breaker in this one. Sheamus, he's still Sheamus. I mean, he's fun. He puts on banger after banger after banger. But at the end of the day, I think Braun Breaker wins this one, and I think the dogs are going to be barking there and so.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say one quick thing, Derico.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you and Bob about when WWE misses the vote on something, when they should have pushed someone, Ludwig. I think why not give him the belt?
Well, okay, but that's the good news here is that there's still time. There's still plenty.
It would be interesting to have him win the title at a premium live event, one of the big four, and he's over.
Well, and that's also why I love the direction of like where the creative is going right now, because they're showing opportunities where people can rise. And I think Ludwig's right in that mix. He is the modern day Lord Steven Regal.
Yes, and to have him as
that's what he is.
Be really good. I get what Bob is saying about Breaker. He probably shouldn't lose the title this fast, but if he did, at least he could maybe get into the main event picture.
I'll get to Braun in a minute.
Look, if they take the title off of him and they put it on Ludwig, I think that's going to be a sign that we're going to start seeing title changes happen more frequently.
Okay, maybe.
I really think that's going to be the case. If we see that happens, maybe not necessarily with the main titles, like the World Championship, but I do think that if we see that happen, you're going to start seeing title changes happen more frequently.
Well, and look, I don't want to see that happen too often. I think you should keep your titles on folks for a respectable amount of time. But you know what? You don't always have to. If things call for certain stories to go a right direction, I'm not against that either. That's totally fine. And now that was the purpose of Jey winning that title.
Yes.
Jey needed that in order to get him to an equal footing with Roman. That was the big reason why Jey needed that. So,
yeah, it was a way to reward him and get him back into the Bloodline story. You did both.
Yeah,
correct. It enhanced that story, and that's perfect. So I've already talked about Ludwig. I'm excited to see Sheamus on a PLE again. Shout out. It's been a while. He's still good. And he's a good guy to have around just because he's believable. He's an Irishman that could beat people up.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
Puts on banger after banger after
banger.
Throws that like I thought what were their names? His group of Irishmen there.
With Pete Dunne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you remember their names? I can't remember, but I love that.
Brawlers, wasn't it?
It was the Brawl. Yeah, it was yes. It was the Brawlers, but
they walk in with their hands on their shoulders, like you're drunk.
No, that was a great babyface stable because they were all tough guys. They were all guys you could root for too. They looked like they were drunk buddies ready to go out and fight somebody. Like seriously, if you look at those three, like who they were back then, they would be a Netflix show. It was perfect. It was awesome. I love that stable.
I liked him as the bar with Claudio or Antonio.
Well, that was also very good too.
I thought it was very good too.
Now to get to Braun though.
Yeah.
Again, I always like to think long term because that's the way they think. Braun is going to be turning babyface, I think, pretty soon.
Yeah.
The dogs are barking, folks. They're getting behind him. And the only reason he really hasn't turned yet is because they want to see how much they can get out of him as a heel.
Yeah.
But that's not going to last much longer. It won't. Because he's too awesome.
Right.
He's too good. And I think that will last probably until maybe January when he goes over to Netflix.
So you're saying he wins on Saturday night?
He wins. Now, I'll just to play long game here in Vegas, I'll tell you who I want him to fight.
Who?
Come on, fella. You got a fight in you, do you?
Oh, McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Where is McIntyre, by the way? He hasn't been on, right?
It doesn't matter. I'm out. You don't have to know any more than that. You stalker. Stay out of it.
That is so funny. He hasn't been seen since what? Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, that was it. Well, he needed a break after that.
Yeah.
So I hope that Braun does go that route because I think once Braun becomes a babyface, he's going to be cheered and barked like nobody that we've like. It's almost going to be on a Goldberg level with him once he turns like that. And he's going to need a big heel to do that against. And Drew's the perfect heel for that. It'll be great.
He needs Scott Steiner to manage him.
Would you stop with the dog barking, you stupid animals?
You can see that my nephew is big, but he's not as big as the big bad booty daddy.
No. Math promo. There needs to be a math
promo. They just show that again.
At some point, he's got to have a Steiner math promo.
32 and
33 and a third.
I would love it if they interviewed him after this match and he wins and he's like, on a three-way, you normally have a 33 and a third chance of winning, but I am
if he does that, he's my favorite wrestler, and it doesn't even come close. That's it. He wins.
That's so good.
All right.
Got that one. Next.
All right. Let's talk about one I think that's actually going to be a lot of fun. Even though it's predictable, it's still a lot of fun. Let's talk about Priest versus Gunther. Damian Priest versus Gunther. Okay. Bob, let's start off with you on this one.
Gunther wins.
Yes.
I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Gunther wins. They've had too much buildup with Priest getting the better end of Gunther leading up to this. So it makes it look like it's just a foregone conclusion that Gunther has lost his confidence and Priest is going to take it. But that's why Gunther is going to win. It's just if they put it on Priest, I will be really surprised.
Me too.
But I think Gunther wins it. I think it will be a fun match because the SummerSlam match between the two was really
Great.
good. So
Great.
I think this would be a real fun one. I'm glad that we're getting this rematch between the two because we never got that rematch right away. So to save that for a pay-per-view worked perfect.
Yeah.
Or a PLE, I mean. So
Josh, if you would.
I've got Gunther winning. It's pretty obvious. Is this match a filler, boys? Like, do they just have? They're not sure what to do with Gunther as champion, or this is all they just want to finish this rivalry out?
I know what they're going to do with Gunther.
It's the least filler of the filler they have.
Okay, what were you just
I think all three of those matches are filler. Because first off, let's be honest. This is not a knock to Gunther as the world heavyweight champion, but the world heavyweight champion is Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
I mean, we all know that he is the face of the company, and he's not on the PLE.
No,
these are all filler matches because at the end of the day, the only ones everybody really cares about are those two War Games matches, and specifically the men's, because this has been built up. I mean,
wait, Cody is not in this pay-per-view at all.
No, they're saving him for Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, they're saving him for Saturday night's main event in a couple of weeks.
Yep,
wow.
He's going up against Kevin Owens,
and he hasn't defended the title in a while, right?
He defended at the last PLE, didn't he?
Did he?
No, that was Bad Blood.
No, you're right.
Roman.
He hasn't defended the title.
So I guess it was Bash of Berlin.
Yeah, I think so.
Whoa!
Because then after Bash at Berlin was the match where he teamed with Roman.
That was it. Yeah, that was Bad Blood. Yeah.
But that wasn't for the title at Bash at Berlin, was it?
Yes, it was.
Oh, it was.
No, it was. That was the big point. Is that Cody offered Kevin Owens a shot at it, and Kevin said, "Don't give it to me. I haven't earned it." That was then. This is now.
And Kevin had a shot to win it by
he didn't knock out the knee. He restrained.
But wait a minute, who won at Bash at Berlin? It was
Cody won. It was a title match.
He did win. Okay, he beat.
But he won it because Kevin Owens had an opportunity to be the heel Kevin Owens and take out Rhodes with his bad knee. He didn't do it, and Cody ended up winning. So that sets up the storyline that you're only champ still because I held back, and now that you've betrayed me and you joined up with Roman, and everybody else is losing their minds, I'm the only one that still knows how bad the bloodline is.
I'm sorry.
No matter if it's 1.0 or 2.0, they're all still bad. So yeah, that's why they've set it up the way they did. It's actually pretty good storytelling.
It is.
And then Cody fought Gunther in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So that was the last time
a one-off.
he fought on a PLE.
And that was non-title.
It wasn't for title.
That was not a title. No.
That's where I got confused. Okay, now
it was for a title, and then it was for a title that they kept there, and then they made rings.
Yes, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I get it.
It's the Super Bowl, but again, you knew Cody Rhodes was going to win that one because again, he's the undisputed champion. Right. You can't turn around and neuter him and have him lose to that match because he's got to win it because at some point.
Yeah.
Either The Rock or Roman are going to come after that particular title again.
Right. Get rid of the other title. It's ridiculous. You don't need
it. Now, to be fair to the whole match was dumb to even come up with for that type of a situation. That should have been Gunther coming after Cody for that title.
Correct.
That's what that should have been. Because that's a viable villain for Cody. It's actually a perfect villain for Cody. Correct. Like I'm the German brute. I want the American Nightmare. Yeah. I want it for that belt.
I totally agree with that.
Instead, we had two titles. We go to Saudi Arabia. There's no build-up. It's just because we can do it. Now, I wanted to see the matches. We all did. And I'm glad, it was like as simple of a roll-up as it was because I didn't want to see Gunther just get, driven down with, God knows how many crossroads. So I'm glad they did it the way that they did it, but still, it just discombobulated. It wasn't good. They shouldn't have done it that way.
Got it.
Did you finish your thoughts about Priest and Gunther? Josh?
Yep.
Okay. I agree on the same. Gunther is going to win, but I'm excited to watch the match. I think this is going to be even more physical than their first one. I think they're going to pummel the hell out of each other. They let loose when they were at SummerSlam. I think they're going to do even better this time. I can't wait. I'm just there for the match this one.
Question: does the Judgment Day get involved? And the only reason
Maybe.
I ask is because at the last Raw, Finn Balor made some remarks that to what's his name, to Dominic, saying that you didn't take care of Priest when you had the chance, and now Priest is going for that title again. So
could be
maybe he gets a shot because. Or maybe he gets involved and then we have another match between Balor and Priest because they only did one. And I was expecting that to be at least a 3-match feud.
I actually thought that was going to go to Vegas too. Now you're right. It may have been like that series where you start with Bad Blood, you go to Royal Rumble, then you go to Mania.
Yeah, so maybe he gets involved and sets up another match with him and only Balor wins the second one.
But let me ask you this though. Has Priest gotten past the Judgment Day, where it's like
that's the thing. They act like that the feud's done. I don't think that it is. I think there's still some more you can get out of that.
Okay, then maybe I'm not seeing it. If you think there's more juice that we can get that's worth the squeeze, I'm here for it.
I think you can get some more juice out of it, but it has to come from Balor.
It has to be from him.
It can't come from one of the others. It's got to come from Balor, and because I really thought that was going to be at least a 3-match feud, and it was a one-off.
Yeah, it was. And actually, if you went back and watched that match at Bad Blood, it could have been a Raw match, on like a Raw main event. It didn't need to be even on that PLE. So maybe you're right. Maybe there's more juice we can squeeze out of this. I'm here for it. I can't wait. I'm excited. Let's talk about the turkey, shall we? Let's do it. We'll start off with the women's War Games match. Man, there's some talent in this one. So there is the babyface team, which consists of Mommy herself, Rhea Ripley, the EST, Bianca Belair, the Queen of Glow, Naomi, Io Sky, the Master of the Sky, and, of course, your role model, Bayley. They'll be going up against Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Man, that's a lot of talent. And I know it got thrown together quickly, but I'm looking forward to it. Josh, you start us off here. Let's get your thoughts.
I'm going back and forth with this. I think the women are the women. No duh. I think Rhea's team is going to win, but does Liv's team have more talent? I don't know. I
wouldn't say they have more talent.
Not more talent. I don't know why I could just see her team beating Rhea's team. But I guess I'm going to go stick with Rhea and just say that I think it's going to be a great match. And, the fact that Rhea's back already was, a great thing. The Jade Cargill thing, I'm still, Bobby and I talked about that the other day. Her injury, Bobby's saying he thinks it's kayfabe. I didn't
say I think it's kayfabe. I said I think there's a possibility it could be, because just like you were talking about how Rhea's got a real injury, it turned out she's going to be off for an extended period of time. Why? Because Meltzer said it. It must.
Derek, I think
you know what I'm talking about, Derek. He's wrong all the time. So my point is, just because Meltzer says it, that doesn't mean that it can't be a kayfabe injury. Because there's no way Jade Cargill has an injured kidney, a lacerated spine, all this.
No, bleeding in a spleen.
But wait a minute, Derek, help me out here. Why would she not be part of a major pay-per-view? Like, leave the match if it's not something legit.
Because she ain't ready for War Games.
Maybe, but...
And it could be that there's an injury. I'm not saying that there's not. I'm just saying...
Maybe there is. You're right. That's true, too.
It could be a number of things.
It's not a singles match. She would get help in War Games.
I understand that, but it doesn't mean that just because you get help means you're ready for it.
I don't know. I think she's injured. But yeah, I'm
I
going to
don't
go
know, and if she is, hey,
yeah.
make it work in terms of a story.
But I think I'm going to go for Rhea's team. But I wouldn't be surprised if Liv's team wins.
Okay. All right. Bob, what do you say?
I'm torn on this one here.
See?
Because I'm trying to figure out which ones have the better outfits. And because I am here for this match for those outfits.
Yeah.
And, because any chance that I get to see Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Naomi, all of them, they all look great. So no, talent wise, I think there's a lot of talent here. Like
huge amount.
Okay, like Nia Jax, I think has done a great job as women's
champ.
I love Nia. She is such a good champ, and she's such a dominant wrestler. She's always been. I love it. I mean, this is how dominant she was. She eliminated R-Truth.
Enough said. That's right.
But he where are the guys at? Where are the guys at? And so,
so good.
No, so she is fantastic. Liv, I think, has really, since she has come back, elevated her game.
She may be MVP female of the year. She really may be.
She has been so good. Her storyline with Dom, that is a power couple. I mean, she has Mr. Casanova himself going up behind her. I mean, how could she not win? When you got true love, you could win anything.
Exactly.
No, you got Tiffany.
Nothing's going to stop us now by Starship.
I have a feeling the heels are going to win, but I think this could be really interesting. But I think one of the reasons I think the heels are going to win, didn't the faces win the last two? So,
yeah.
So because they beat down, what's her name? Because it was Bianca's team last year, also, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
It was Bianca's team, and she had
that
Becky Lynch.
Great, by the way.
Fantastic match.
Yeah,
and they beat Damage Control.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the year before, I think the faces won also, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right on that, Bob.
So I'm going to say the heels are going to take it this one, but I would not be surprised. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would not be surprised if after they win, somehow Tiffy pulls a Tiffy time and cashes in on Nia Jax.
Tiffy time.
Don't be surprised if it happens after the win or even during the match. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. So yeah, but I'm going with the heels on this one, but I am torn on this because there is a great amount of talent. Io Sky might be the best wrestler of them all.
Oh man,
I mean, she is just smooth,
phenomenal.
And the stuff she does that like last year, and I had it in the intro where she put the trash can on herself and jumped on top of all the ladies.
Yeah,
I mean, she is fantastic.
She's gonna do something with that cage and make it look simple this year again too. Like it's gonna look like nothing.
So yeah, I would not be. I think this could go either way, but I am taking the heels on this one, and I like the late addition of Bailey. It looks like who's gonna take the place. I've always liked Bailey. So
she's never missed one. She's never missed a War Games.
No,
she almost did this year, but yeah.
Has she even won a War Games yet? No, she hasn't yet.
No. But you know what? A more than suitable replacement.
Yep.
If you're gonna,
you can't go wrong with Bailey.
Come on, man. Like she's the one. So I'll pick it up from here. Man, okay. God, there's a lot of talent in this match. This is gonna be really good. This is gonna be a lot of fun. This feels like it could be Money in the Bank from the female side, only in the cage.
I loved that Money in the Bank.
That was
match.
fantastic.
The only thing missing from this match is Chelsea Green.
Chelsea
Especially
Green.
because they're in Canada. So that's the only thing missing from this.
If she makes an appearance, forget
Why
it.
didn't they put her in it? That would have been good.
Well, okay, but you also got to remember she's chasing a U.S. title right now.
Yes, yeah, that's why.
Oh,
You
that's
know?
true. I didn't realize
And people, I told this to Bob because Bob's like, I really hope she becomes the inaugural women's champion, the U.S. women's champion.
that.
And I told Bob, I said, there's a strong majority of people that feel that way.
Yeah, it would
I
be great.
don't think that's out of the realm of possibility here. She could win, and if she beats like a big time heel in that tournament,
Yeah.
trust me when I tell you that crowd will blow up if
But
she
is she
wins.
Pretty big on her singles win.
Exactly.
On the first tournament win.
Sure. And that was just the first round.
But what
Yeah.
is she, a face right now or a heel?
No. She's still a heel. Like when they went to raise her hand, she and then raises her own hand. I sent Derek a video. I need to send it to you, Josh. Of Chelsea today. She got her went over 1 million subscribers, or not subscribers, followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And she's celebrating. And some friends wanted to congratulate her, and it's Nick Aldis, Michael Cole, Adam Pearce, and
Yeah.
all of them. They're all like, "Well, it seems like 1 million people got a lobotomy," you know.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
and it's
great.
hilarious because she's sitting there,
Yeah.
you know, and
And then her
at one
sister
point-
gets
yeah,
up.
at one point her sister comes on and she's like, "Hey, sis, no one else from the family wanted to do this, so you're stuck with me."
That is funny. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she's like, "That's
Chelsea
that's not true."
Chelsea is a heel, but that's not going to last very long.
She's a
That-
heel.
No, she's a heel right now.
What
When
they'll
she
do
gets-
is they'll turn both her and
Yeah.
Piper face together
Yep.
because I don't think
exactly.
I don't think they're going to break that partnership up anytime soon because they
No,
actually
sure
go
they-
really
it's
well
great.
together.
Yes.
It's funny how those two came together simply because of an injury,
Yeah.
and yet they're gold together.
No, that's an organic story that happened in real life, and you play that out. That's gold. When
Yeah.
it comes to this match, though, okay, Josh, you weren't there for this conversation, but I did tell Bob.
Yes.
Again, long game, Vegas. Okay, the match in Vegas for me. Let me start off here. The match in Vegas for me is a babyface Rhea versus a heel Bianca Belair
Interesting. Okay.
for the women's world title.
Okay.
As much as I love Liv Morgan, as much as I think she's the MVP this year,
Yeah.
they've stressed this feud out too long. Okay, there's no more revenge to be had on
Right.
Rhea that Liv can get. She's gotten everything.
Right.
So at some point, okay, Rhea has to respond back, get her title, move on. Now we'll talk about Liv when it comes to her Mania match, if you'd like. But that is going to need to have Rhea have an opponent. I think the most formidable right now for her is a heel Bianca Belair. You saw her as a heel in NXT, did you not?
Maybe. It's been a while.
She was ruthless. She would whip girls with,
Oh, yeah.
where she
Yeah.
would yell at the crowd, "I'm going to beat the white off this bitch," and would whip her with her hair.
Wow.
It was brutal what she used to do to girls.
No, she was she was good. It's so funny when you were talking about Rhea and Liv. I
Mhm.
had something in my mind that imagine eventually, not anytime soon, where Dom comes in and saves Rhea and makes that full circle and becomes a big time baby face.
There will be a time and a place for that. It's
They
not
hug it
right now,
out.
but there will be a
I
time
don't
and
know.
a
I
place
can
for
see
that.
that. But yeah,
Now,
okay.
but here's why. Now, here's why I say that for Mania, because there's going to be a point in a match where maybe it's something like Bailey and Bianca are getting into it,
Yeah,
and there's some type of a scrum, and then she accidentally nails Rhea in the face
could
or
be.
something
Yeah,
along those lines, where now there's potentially a bad situation with the babyface team, and you're wondering what if there's going to be strife there. Now, here's how I think this match could end, and again, maybe not probable. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know how probable it is. But I would love to see it, and I think that at least the winners I'm seeing, that will happen. I think that Tiffy Time could easily bring her briefcase into the match to use it as a weapon.
yeah,
But she could easily make Nia mad enough where she starts shoving her in the ring post, and after everybody's been beaten up and after everybody's been so exhausted, for her to then get Nia bullied and shoved down, all she has to do is grab that briefcase, clock her with it,
yes, and then cash in.
pin right there with the cash and get the title, and then walk out the cage to forfeit the match for the heel team at the same time.
Could be.
That's it. That ends the War Games match.
Is that your prediction?
It's probably not going to happen, but I would like to see it happen. So
Prediction? Yes.
yeah,
prediction.
maybe it's prediction.
Yes.
That's what I'd like to roll with, though. I think the babyface team is going to win this one. That's me.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So main event.
We're here for the meat and the potatoes, whether they're mashed or they're nice and golden browned. Let's talk about it. It's going to be the OG Bloodline and CM Punk versus the new Bloodline, the bad Bloodline. Not this one, that one.
Solo, I love you.
I love you. Have you seen Jacob Fatu's recent tweets?
No, but I'm sure he's insane.
He wakes up. He wakes up at whatever it is, 6:50, and he tweets, "I want to thank Jesus for my health, my body, my family, and Solo Sikoa as my tribal chief."
By the way, I heard a very nice guy in real life.
I love how they're taking these feuds to social media, where you had Drew going off on social media, Scott going off on social media right today. And I meant to mention this when we were talking about the women's. They had Rhea Ripley and Liv were going at each other on X.
It's good
for there. So yeah, and of course it was over Dom.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, can I just say something about Liv real fast?
Yeah.
I didn't even have Liv on the card for Vegas. But now that I'm rethinking it, you know who she could be on the card with?
Who?
The Man Come Round.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Becky Lynch?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talk of that Becky's coming back here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm. They have unfinished business. Now, I originally thought it might have been Becky and Jade, but Jade's who knows with Jade now?
No.
We're not sure.
I think it would be Jade and what's her name? Bianca.
I think what's going to happen, I kind of agree with Derek. I think you're going to have a heel Bianca Belair, and I think that's where you'll see a face Jade Cargill going against her. I think
could be it.
If they're planning on writing Jade off TV for a little bit,
could be.
They'll have them forfeit the titles.
Well, maybe it was Bianca that injured Jade.
Yeah, I just thought about that too.
Mm-hmm. That could be it. But getting back into
that's right, she's got to make sure she's still the EST and nobody else takes that
EST at the end of the day. She's going to be so good as a heel. I can't wait. Okay, let's talk about this match though, gents. And oh my God, what a story! Oh, I love it so much. Josh, we're going to start with you this time. What do you think happens here?
I think Jacob Fatu goes crazy over everyone.
Just destroys everybody. Yep.
Just destroys everyone. No, I think the biggest end game here is I think Rock shows up. I think we start planting some sort of seeds for Mania. I think.
Does that mean that the bad bloodline wins?
No, I think the original bloodline will win. I don't know. I see some sort of Rock maybe being in the aisleway or something that starts to set things up. I'd be shocked if the new bloodline won, to be honest with you. I think that would be crazy. I don't think they're trying any type of CM Punk and Roman Reigns match coming up where he would
not right now.
Make a mistake or any of that. Yeah, I think we have to do something where we're getting Rock versus Roman at Mania, I think. So I couldn't imagine. Well, but The Rock's probably so busy doing PR for Moana too. So maybe not, maybe he's not. Maybe we don't see him until January.
I don't know. It's Thanksgiving. There's not really a whole lot of PR going on right now for this weekend.
Maybe not. So he could be there. He could be there and he could, cost Roman the match maybe. But I don't see them losing though.
Okay.
With that much talent,
You think we're going to get the OG, all the fingers up in the air, Punk right there with them?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're going to get that. Yeah. Bob, what do you think?
All right. I think the original bloodline wins it. I don't think they put Punk in this match for them to lose. I do think they're going to win it. I know a lot of people are theorizing that Paul Heyman's going to turn and cost the bloodline the match. I think that's too obvious for that to be the case. I think it's going to just be straight up because I don't see story-wise where they set that up for Heyman to turn on Roman. I mean, I could see Heyman, going back with Punk or something like that, but I don't see him, joining Solo's bloodline. And I agree with Josh. I do think The Rock is going to show up here. This could set up, with the new bloodline losing, this could set up The Rock taking the reins of the new bloodline and becoming the tribal chief again.
Unintended, taking the reins.
Yeah. But him becoming the tribal chief and that final boss that we expected him to be, because they left that story open. They were obviously coming back to that at some point. So I think that's what they're going to do and start laying the groundwork for the match against Reigns. So that's where I'm going, but I'm going with the OG bloodline winning it. I just don't see them putting Punk on that lineup for them just to lose.
Okay.
All right. Derek, what do you think?
I think the bad bloodline's going to win.
Really?
For one very specific reason.
The Rock?
Nope. There's not a top to that cage, is there?
Yeah, there is.
No, there's not a roof on that cage.
Yes, it's working.
No, there's not.
There is.
No, there's not.
No. Think about it. How are they jumping off the top of the cage?
How did JD McDonough? How was he able to land the RKO?
Yeah,
they sit there and do calling it War Games, 2 rings wrapped in steel, but there's no roof on top of that.
Josh, they're jumping off the top of the cage. How are they going to be able to do that if there's a roof on
did a jump with a garbage can on her head off that cage.
I guess so.
Charlotte Flair did a moonsault off that cage.
Okay. I thought for sure there was a roof on the cage.
Not if they want them jumping off the top of the cage.
No, I get that.
We know Io is going to do it.
Mm-hmm. She will. Okay, you guys aren't talking about somebody here, though. Seth could easily enter that cage and beat him.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I heard about that. Yes, you're right.
So you're thinking Seth turns heel?
No.
Yeah, against Punk? Because think about this. You know why? The reason that he didn't want to be on the OG Bloodline team was because he didn't want Roman Reigns to get power at all. He wasn't going to help him get power. The man that he hates as much as Roman is going to help him get power.
The only issue I have with that is that Bronson Reed is on the new Bloodline team.
I know. I understand that. But,
right.
but we're also in November, and it's time to start building stories for WrestleMania.
Are you still trying to figure out, Josh, if there's a top to that cage?
No, I just looked at last year. You guys are right. I don't know why I thought
it was in our intro, Josh. It showed Io jumping off the top of the cage.
Did NXT have a cage on top, a roof on top when they did it in NXT?
No, they didn't. They actually set it like right in the bottom there. If you escape the cage, you forfeit.
Okay.
Well, I think what it is, Josh, is you keep thinking back to WCW days.
I do. I absolutely do. 100%.
When Sid Vicious threw Brian Pillman up against the ceiling of it and almost killed him.
That was crazy.
That's why there's no roof anymore.
Yeah, you see, WWE took the idea that WCW did and just did it better. Because now they could jump off the top of the cage with a trash can on them.
As Io Sky did. And God bless her.
I can't wait to see what Io does off of that.
Well,
We've seen
Io's going to be nuts.
Leg drop off the top of the cage. Somebody was on a table.
Oh, she's the best. Oh, can't wait.
I wish this was Sunday night, not Saturday night.
No, let it be Saturday night.
It's fine with Saturday.
Football.
Well, there's football on Sunday.
There's football on Sunday, too.
Yeah, that's true, but not as...
Okay, let me guess. USC's playing.
No, they are during the day. I got to watch Florida State, Florida.
No, you don't.
Well, I'm going to watch Florida State, Florida too, but I'm still going to watch War Games.
I know. No, I'll watch War Games.
Josh, there is a reason the DVR exists.
There you go.
I don't think I need to explain this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I think the Bad Bloodline is going to win only for that reason. Now, having said that, that is where I think we may get finally a solo Roman match at Saturday night's main event. And I think that's where The Rock comes back.
That could work.
Then what's at the Rumble then this year? Who's...
All of them in the Rumble this year.
Oh.
All of them. The Rock, Roman, Randy, John Cena, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, all of them.
It's going to be a loaded Royal Rumble.
Oh, boy, you better get ready for January. That's going to be
who's Cody wrestling at the Rumble?
Good question. We don't know. We have to see how that pans out.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Or does he?
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe Gunther doesn't either.
Maybe.
But they're all going to be in the Rumble. It's going to be very, very good.
Yeah.
All right.
Very good, gentlemen.
Leave Gone the Distance here, folks. Talk about a way to celebrate Thanksgiving. All right. Let's do some social media, folks. Let's get it out of the way. Bob, go ahead.
You can find me over on my YouTube channel. Was It Good? At Bob Loves Movies. As always, our social media will be in the description below. And you can also find me on X and Criticless.
All right, Josh, you, sir.
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn and on TikTok. I am the family man of the Valley. I'm a realtor here in Southern California.
All right. As for myself, I've been feel rejuvenated after this conversation. There's some youth in my body. I'm still old, though. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. That's it, folks. Hopefully everybody has a great, wonderful, and safe Thanksgiving.
Happy
Looking
Thanksgiving.
forward to talking to you guys next week as well.
All right.
All righty. Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, bye.
Bye.